Months of hard work has left all the way now to this. This weekend is the very first chance that these 16 teams have to make their way through to a close qualifier and potentially get themselves a little bit comfortable here in the whole VCT process. But folks, the VALORANT Champion Store here for NA is about to go through some fun times. My name is Upmind, joined here by Sully, and we're kicking off playoff Saturday. Yes, correct, Saturday, and then tomorrow Sunday with today's big matchup. But Sully, before we get into the matchups, let's talk about the tournament itself. Of course, my name is Upmind, joined here by Sully, and nothing too much has changed, Sully, about the tournament.
No, nothing really. I mean, it's a little bit more complicated this time because teams, similar to how we had in the last stage, are fighting for a spot at LAN. That's right, the LAN will be held in Berlin in a couple of months, so a lot of these teams, there is so much to fight for, and the way it's going to work out is currently we have our 16 teams. The teams that win their best of threes today will advance to our first close qualifier, where then the 8 teams from this bracket will play for a spot in the main event for North America. So the top 4 teams from our first close qualifier move on, and then the 4 teams that didn't move on will have a chance in the second close qualifier. It's a little bit complicated, but what you need to know is there are only 3 spots to Berlin for North America, and there are 128 teams battling at the moment.
Yeah, 128 teams battling for what is only 8 spots, what is only 4 spots, at least from this entire tournament. That's why I was a little bit more hesitant in saying, like, championship or, like, playoff Saturday. Because this whole weekend, folks, is very important. The games from today, the games from tomorrow, every single game starting today counts for a spot going into the closed qualifier. So whether you're watching the A stream or the B stream, whether you're watching today or tomorrow, should be some fun times. But, Sully, yes, of course. Let's talk about bracket. Let's talk. How do we talk about this weekend, Sully? Well, I think good old SONIQS is our first team up here. It's gonna be SONIQS versus Sentinels, of course, Envy versus T1, and over on the B stream, more importantly, XSET versus Dark Zero. I think is going to be way fun of a matchup. 100 Thieves versus Noble is the one right after that. So folks, again, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is where we're going to start both today and tomorrow, so tune into both days. But of course, Sully, let's talk about our matchup potentially just a little bit. SONIQS, what a team to even make it to this point, huh?
Yeah, I mean, SONIQS had a pretty miraculous run. They had to beat out Renegades, one of their rivals, I have to say. I think those 2 teams have played a million of times. Sentinels, they themselves had 2 bye rounds, so they had kind of the easy run. They played against Evil Geniuses just yesterday. Evil Genius made a couple roster changes. They were looking pretty good, but SONIQS and Sentinels, that's where we find ourselves on the mainstream. Now, Gus, looking at the rest of the bracket, I'm not even going to lie to you. It's some crazy teams. I want to really take focus on XSET versus Dark Zero. Dark Zero, the dark horses, I think, is the best way to put it, after beating FaZe in such crazy fashion. 2-1. That game was just explosive. If you didn't catch the VOD, you kind of have to watch it.
You have to watch it. Dark Zero versus FaZe was such a fun match to watch, and that was already, like, worthy of leading into a spot to close qualifiers. So if Dark Zero ended their run with a win against FaZe, I would have 0 qualms. I would have no complaints whatsoever. But these guys have to face off against XSET. Man, it just keeps getting tougher for Dark Zero, but these guys, a week after announcing their sponsorship, should be having a fun time in their game against XSET. That's over on the B stream, though, Sully. Out of the other games, anything else that catches your eye?
I think our second game of the day, Envy versus T1, there should be a lot of expectations for both of these teams. We got to see Envy on stream against Carpe Noctem. Marv, who just recently joined Envy, is on a loan from FaZe. He is looking really good at Envy. The coordination is there, and like we expect from Envy, no less than the best. But T1, they've made some crazy moves, right? They've kind of overhauled their entire roster, made so many agent comp changes. So our second game is probably my most exciting, and all the games beneath 100 Thieves versus Noble are going to be our games for day number 2.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tough, right? But, you know, as we finally start going off of the bracket, as before we were starting to talk about Sentinels versus SONIQS, I mean, the reason why I want to talk about SONIQS first is purely because these guys were kind of the lineup that, first of all, none of us expected to even be an NA, and nevertheless actually be more or less a prominent figure. Solely throughout the last 2 to 3 months, we've seen SONIQS kind of laying around only like tier 2 tournaments because they came in late to the VCT process. How does SONIQS come into a day like today? What is their mindset going into a rematch against Sentinels?
Yeah, just to put it into context, SONIQS, when they first came to North America, they came in like the middle of stage 2. And ever since then, I think that we said at first, we were like, give these guys 2 to 3 months and they will be one of the best, or if not, they will be able to compete with the best of the best in North America. And what have they proven? They've proven no less. This is their rematch. The first team they ever lost to in North America was Sentinels, and the crazy improvement that SONIQS have had grinding out those tier 2 tournaments like the Knights, like the Nerd Street Gamers Summer Champs qualifiers. I mean, the growth is there, and this is the potential. This is the benchmark, and everyone on SONIQS has the potential to really explode. Bob, Ian, Plix, Dizzy, and Crunchy. If you don't know who they are, most of them are just insane aimers. Keep your eyes out for Plix and Dizzy. Those two are phenomenal to witness, and Ian, the IGL, brings such a crazy games plan to every single matchup that SONIQS has.
The reason why we call it a benchmark, folks, is because, yes, SONIQS, one of their first games coming into NA, they faced off against Sentinels. And I think this one has a little bit more weight to it, Sully. And I don't think we can really talk about SONIQS, or not SONIQS, sorry. I don't think we can talk about Sentinels and really give the value that Sentinels deserves, really give them their comeuppance. So, folks, you're reigning, defending Masters champions, the kings of the Valorant landscape. It's the one and only Sentinels.
And it was not like fake humility. There was nothing to it. He was very honest. He goes, yeah, we're the best. We're favored. We know it.
They've got free reign. They can do whatever they want. I got to stick with Sentinels here, Golden Boy.
With equipment. We do have knives out from Shazam. He's able to nail Durka. Around the side he goes. Shazam is annihilating everybody with the ultimate. Oh my god, the spray is going to do it. And there it is. Dapper's going to lock it in. Sentinels have bested Fnatic in the upper bracket. Well, Shazam. Oh, over the top. He gets two. Shazam again.
And they could definitely run off this. Maybe not. Tens denies it right away with 2 off kills.
Through the Cosmic Divides in. Sick over the top of Lock. Able to take down GTN. And that's down the Spike. Carrier killed. Sick is doing all kinds of shenanigans here on the side.
The thing is, if they use that much, then they don't have too much to take the side over, and Tens continues to go to work.
Very unfortunate for Vikings, but that's going to be a wrap in this series. Tapper somehow avoiding absolutely everybody on the site, only to turn around and annihilate 3 players. Can Stick find the first player? Yes, he can. There goes Lakia. A right click on the paint shell. Sick nails the clutch. And he's going to get peppered from all sides. And there we go. Sentinels take down Newton on map 2 on Haven. 13-4 to take the series to move forward to the grand finals. And now Shazam swings in. Sentinels are looking fantastic. Oh, hello. Tens is going to find Magnum. Oh! And concussed. Has to be great on his first. Oh my god! How on earth has he done that? Magnum's in the smoke here. Tens. Oh my god! Oh, Magnum's got no HP. Not like this. Sentinels. They're going to get the defuse. They've done it.
It's crazy, man. We made this team over a year ago now, and you know, there's a lot of doubt. A lot of people think, watch player this and that, but like this like proves to a point that like don't let anyone else tell you what you can or can't do. Like don't let others decide your future. Like we put the work in, and it shows. We're here now.
Yeah, it makes just about sense, right? Sentinels, they have finally arrived back on NA soil, and yes, they have come back with the first piece of Valorant silverware that we've seen around the official ranks, and it feels good, Sully, to say the least.
Yeah, it feels amazing, dude. That hype video has got me pumped, but I mean, this is just an insane best of 3 to begin with. Again, we talk about that rematch, and for a rematch, it is so iconic that the first best of 3 that these two teams played started on Icebox, and for the rematch, Gus, we're back on Icebox. This is historic, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. Icebox is going to be so fun to watch, and the last time that we saw it, it was near the beginning of the Viper meta too. So yeah. It was we were only starting to like get used to that beginning meta, and it's kind of funny how we are also getting used to a newer meta now. But again, that's why it's called a benchmark. That's why it's called a big test for SONIQS. Icebox is certainly going to be a map that they have to savor.
Yeah, I mean, this entire map pool it's actually really favorable for both sides. At least it plays to both teams' strengths. Icebox is typically one of the best maps that Sentinels have in their map pool, currently 8-1. We've seen a couple of changes that they've made. Now, the only scare is that against EG, that went 13-10. They had a 12-5 lead, so be cautious, right? SONIQS, they brought Sentinels to 13-10 the first time they played, so knowing the growth, it could be a whole lot closer. Now, Sentinels moving forward, Typically, their insta-ban used to be Bind, but with Breeze added to the map pool, they've decided to ban that first. Maybe showing a little uncomfortability on that map. So going into Bind, I mean, if you guys saw Masters, and I hope you did, against Fnatic, Sentinels are currently one of the only teams to ever best Fnatic on Bind. So for that to be their favored map pick, you can expect nothing but the best. And then moving into Haven, the best map that Sentinels have in their map pool, it's going to be a banger series.
Oh, no, absolutely. Haven, at least for me, is going to be one of the more refined versions of Sentinels that we will see, purely because, like you said, again, Bind is a newer map in the actual pocket for Sentinels. But just because it's newer doesn't mean that it's damn good, you know, because you mentioned Fnatic, they beat them, and here now in NA they arrive with a 5-0 record. Bind is a really good map for Sentinels, but for SONIQS it doesn't get any easier either. They are also having some pretty fun times on both Icebox and Bind.
Yeah, Bind is a map that they're pretty strong on, but they haven't played it in the recent month. I'm more curious about their Icebox. It's a crazy stat line, but the last 3 months they've played it over 27 times. So, I mean, they're pretty familiar with Icebox, and so that's why I'm excited to find ourselves landing on Icebox. And obviously, like you said, we're kind of in a Viper meta right now. We're going to see both of these Vipers clash. It's going to be between Ian and most likely Zoms to see who's got the better Viper, or at least what more value you can find out of its util.
Yeah, SONIQS is going to be one of the scattered teams that are maintaining that Viper, and Icebox just so happens to be one of the maps where SONIQS is going to keep that in the pocket. Same thing with Sentinels.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at these agent compositions, it's basically what we expect, right? 10's on the Reyna, how much value he can get out of that Reyna, getting a kill, dismissing around the corner. It's just so useful to have that Reyna potential, and when 10's really pops up, it's one of the scariest things to watch in all of Valorant. But on the other side, right, they've instead gone for a Raze instead of a Reyna. There's so much value you can find out of Raze utility, right? Just all the corners that you can clear with the Boomba, the paint shells. I mean, both compositions are fairly similar. Basically, every team in North America runs the comp of Viper, Sage, Sova, and Jett, and that fit flex. And that fit flex could honestly be one of the deciding factors in this best of 3.
It could absolutely be, but again, it's kind of coming down to the point that, well, Sully, it's a newer tournament, and it's a newer time. We're seeing Jett back in the mix. This time it's Shazam and Dizzy picking it up, as they've been usually doing. But how does that reintroduction to the meta shake things up, if it does?
I mean, we kind of know how Jett works on this map, right? A lot of people are saying Jett is just super powerful on Icebox to use that operator, get a kill, then immediately dash away. It's just crazy the value you can get out of it. But we're hopping into the pistol round, Gus. We're kicking things off. The rematch finds itself here on Icebox.
I never thought it would be Sully giving the hype this time. Yes, folks! Map number 1 between Sentinels and SONIQS, your world champions, facing off against Oceania's finest. And it's already a slower takeover towards that A site, but they make it go fast. Dizzy already in the back of sight. It's an immediate Sage wall too. They have full control and no kills whatsoever going back and forth.
Now, there's so much util dumped down here from SONIQS just to obscure the vision, but as soon as that poison orb goes down, Shazam has presented a golden opportunity.
Shazam already around the corner. He headshots the wrong person, but still getting some decent damage. It's Crunchy running the mid side at just about 22 HP. He's trying to play out a little bit more time, potentially delay for Dizzy, but Dizzy still in the back of sight, gonna be able to get one, traded back immediately. Ian coming up from behind over at mid, and there you go. Ian might have just iced this whole thing out. Shazam has to go so huge, but he gets a big one onto Ian first, dashes right into the face of Bob, but Bob gets that right click, and that's the first round going back to good old Oceania.
Big round coming out from SONIQS just to kick things off. You see that utility that they use into that backside, that poison orb being one of the biggest things. It obscures so much vision, and in a pistol round like that, if you are Sentinels and maybe you want to try and push straight into the site, prevent the spike from going down, you simply can't from that top Raptors, and that wall as well obscuring the line of sight, losing that 30 HP as soon as you walk into that poison orb makes it super difficult. But as soon as it did go down, you saw a little bit light by the Sentinels, but Crunchy coming up huge with that 2-piece gives SONIQS a pretty good anchor point, at least in the middle of that site, and they pick up that first round of result. Now in this round, Sentinels, it's going to be a lighter buy here. We can see and expect a couple of sheriffs, maybe find a little bit of value from these two duelists on the A site. Who knows?
Yeah, Shazam going for an early peek. At least in terms of the play-by-play, it's SONIQS. Still maintaining an option all the way in the back of B main. And it, oh, I like this play, Sully. They show face for a quick second, and they're already out of there.
right? And if you are Sentinels, having that kind of minimal contact, you're going to want to rotate, right? The core fundamentals of any eco round, or at least when you have only pistols and definitely the lesser guns, is kind of work together, right? Maybe you can overwhelm them with numbers, crossfires might catch them off guard, and especially with the sheriffs in the hands of Tens and Shazam, especially on that A site, can be very scary. Ian causing a little bit of disruption on the B site. I think the cutting and noise definitely sold a double fake for Sentinels, and SONIQS are going to have an open A site here.
Yeah, open A site, and that's all SONIQS were trying to do. Very light util to even approach over onto the A site, and again, no harm, no foul whatsoever if SONIQS overextended a little bit over on the B site. All is too fine, but let's see what the retake is like. Ten's already starting off with a big headshot. Keeps himself at a headshot angle, trying to get himself another kill, but ends up going down anyways. That's going to be Crunchy getting the kill. Plix taking one back onto Shazam, currently at that 3v3. At the same time, too, we had another kill going back from Sentinels. Ian over in the back line, watching out. Takes a dapper big one from Sick, but Plix taking down Zombs at the exact same time is going to leave the Sage down on her lonesome in a 1v2. Could definitely get a whole lot of damage economically, trying to get a little bit cheeky with it on the ropes with nothing but a Deeg, but Sick has a little bit better of an angle too. Try to find a headshot here. Again, would be so huge, but everyone's just gonna run away. So a little bit more stressful of a situation purely because Sick was in the middle of that site. But SONIQS, well, that's a whole lot of guns taken away actually.
Yeah, it's going to hurt just a little bit, but I think in this meta, at least nowadays, no matter what, you're going to try and bonus his third round. And the best way to compensate for a loss like that is to buy up sheriffs, right? Take those long-range duels. Icebox really affords those kind of situations where if you have that sheriff, the one-shot potential from such a long range can combat against likes of maybe a Vandal or even a Phantom. So SONIQS, it's not going to be too heavy of a reinvestment. As you can see, 2 sheriffs rebought back, and then one Spectre for Bob. So they're going to try to minimize the damage here, see what they can ice out as Sentinels on their full buy. See what early on they can find. Recon Bolt's going to spot out 10, so it kind of nullifies his push just a little bit, but still, he can re-aggress 1 kill, and all he can do is just dismiss and get out of dodge.
Get the hell out of dodge. That's really all he can do, but still in these types of scenarios for SONIQS, we're seeing more and more one-off type peaks, just like this one. It's gonna be Shazam taking down Ian just as around the corner one of his teammates was baiting out pressure. Zombs with another run right back at the exact same time. Here comes Crunchy, actually in the back of A site. Tagging on a big one onto Dapper. Bob is right next to him, and all of a sudden this round is turned on its head. A revive 10 swinging in at the exact same time, and Sentinels, as the dust subsides, it's all gone against them. It's a 1v2 for Zombs, and, well, not much hope. That's if SONIQS doesn't walk right into his crosshair. Oh, Zombs. That could have been it, couldn't it? But Plix stays alive. 3-0.
Wow, huge round from SONIQS. I mean, the mid play looked really good, at least from Sentinels to control that. They lose 1 player, and then they immediately respond back with 2 of their own. But unfortunately, SONIQS able to battle back pretty well there. I'm not even gonna lie, the res comes up and I thought, okay, Tens should be able to trade 1 kill out, maybe get the second, but he gets caught out in the open, and SONIQS able to convert. And that's a round where we spoke about having those sheriffs and those lesser guns, right? It's not that big of a deal anymore.
Yeah.
They're able to close down the gap, close the space, and win out those fights. It puts Sentinels again back on another eco round to trying to maintain their economy, and SONIQS a heavy pressure towards this A side, but that's the flip side. The sheriffs work just as well in the hands of Sentinels.
Yeah, what a great stack from Sentinels. Again, it's trying to maximize damage. It's trying to maximize the million paper cuts to kill ratio, aka you put those pistols all looking at one singular angle, someone is bound to die. So Sentinels utilizing that mentality pretty well, but let's see how they can react over towards this B site. There has been a Viper wall laid out here on B every single round thus far.
Oh my goodness!
But Sentinels, they haven't been onto it! Shazam! Coming in for the skies, taking one away from way far away. And currently a man advantage for Sentinels and no spike plant yet.
But there's so much delay created here by Zombs. He's dropped out so much utility, and it's for SONIQS to make a decision. Do we commit to this plant? And unfortunately, the time brought off. That clock gave a slight opportunity for Shazam to take that double updraft and find those 2 kills. And now Sentinels, they're reading into it perfectly. They've already committed to the rotations. They've got a man advantage, and Tens is already on the scene.
It's more or less a commitment. Tens is still walking around. So trying to find a better angle, or really just any information period. One person in the middle of sight, it's Crunchy. having to escape through the cloud burst, but no way! Dapper! That was another one! Dapper is missing out on these shoulder peaks consistently, and Crunchy is finally gonna get the kill. Oh, that one's just a little bit awkward for Dapper, huh? Thank gosh we weren't actually looking in his perspective, or else that would probably be a clip. But I think we're chilling for now. It was just the pistol, Sully. The rifles come back.
Oh, and an op picked up super early here from Shazam. Where is he going to take it? It looks like possibly to the B side. So this becomes a whole lot more deadly if you are SONIQS. So I imagine that we might see a little bit more focus to this A side from Sentinels, just because of how detrimental it is to peek through first a Viper wall and then possibly get shot by an operator. So Tens, he's going to take this forward position. He jumps on the pipes here, gets a very, very good angle. He can get a kill, dismiss, support his teammate in the back sight. But he's got so many players approaching. Dapper really is in the best angle to help out Tens. With the Owl Drone spotting Tens out, he's in a dangerous spot.
Super dangerous spot, but it's so volatile. Could have easily gone a kill and dismissed, but that's the thing, Sully. He was missing that first step. He was missing the kill. He goes down. Now SONIQS have a route over towards that backside. It's going to be Dizzy once again, trying to clear back elbow, but it's going to be Dapper before that wall goes up, getting the kill. Sick is going to be able to get a kill onto Bob. That Viper's pit goes up at the exact same time. SONIQS with a little bit of defense here, but their players are still going down on the perimeter. Ian in the very middle. Has to play around, has to be sneaky. Zoms. And on top of it, Sentinels slowly sneaking right into the cloud. Ian still has full control. Plex on that back line. Ian gets revealed. Has to run away. Pulls at the sidearm. Can't get a kill at all. Instead of Sick getting it. Plex destroy the wall at a perfect time. The satchel goes out and the showstopper hits.
Goodness.
Oh my word, Plex! A 1v2 to push SONIQS to a perfect lead again.
That is incredible from Plix. A perfect understanding, knowing the time on the clock, and that Sentinels have to stick the spike defusal. Throws the blast back, is then immediately ready for that pick, but that is a massive clutch from him. Sick does a really good job of finding the opening picks to allow his team to flood in, but that Viper's pit clogging up the entirety of the A site makes it so difficult. And Ian, really well played to him to control that part of the map and give Plix this opportunity to win out the clutch. 5-0 start for SONIQS. It is looking really good, and once more Sentinels are on a detrimental buy.
Sully, I don't know if that is anti-stratting or that is just covering all of your options, because that position again and that idea with the satchel, you got to be thinking 500 steps ahead your opponents to even get that done. But Sully looking over towards this round, it's way faster. It's a quick plant, and also a couple of kills at the exact same time. Dizzy getting another one back onto Shazam as that Marshall is already ringing out. Ian trying to come up from behind with a kill onto Zoms, but instead it's the Viper going on Viper. Zoms getting the kill with a trade back from Plix. 3v2.
Revive available here for Sentinels, and Tens has got full HP, the overheal, and a Vandal. Spike in a very tricky position. They know where Plix is. At least a tag on the Tens as well. It doesn't look like it's the most winnable position. The crossbar is being held. Dizzy's got a really good angle as well. 2 players watching it, and as the wall gets instantly broken, yep, nothing here Sick can really do. Maybe try and take a gun out of the hands of SONIQS, but even then, it's not going to be doing too much. 6-0 SONIQS storming their way to a very early lead. Sentinels now will have the buyback, but SONIQS, they are looking golden at the moment.
Sully, I want to warn you. Do you know what happened on Icebox to cause Sentinels to actually come back against SONIQS?
It was a teabag, wasn't it?
It was a teabag.
Yep.
We're not seeing that yet. SONIQS knows.
They've learned their lesson.
It's a different mode for SONIQS today, man. These guys are cutthroat. And, I mean, Icebox was already immaculate for SONIQS the last time they played against Sentinels. It's already happening. It's already a perfect score. But this round has to be a little bit better, Sully. The rifle's back in the hands of Sentinels, and early on, this Viper wall play is a little bit cheeky. They put up a Viper's pit and a Viper wall at the exact same spot. Yellow box is the only spot where these attackers can go.
Yeah, I don't know if Sentinels are trying to reroute the players to the A site, but it looks like SONIQS are still sticking around a little bit. Shazam's gotten investigative with his operator. Tens is right behind to help hold belts. But at the moment, it's SONIQS who have just cut noise. The instant idea is that, okay, we've used the Viper's pit. There should be no way that by us dumping utility on the B site, that SONIQS should still be committing. But that's not the case. SONIQS are just sitting around and waiting. It's up to Ian He was on a pretty late lurk to maybe try and find something in the kitchen, or at least get an opening, because all the info Shazam's got is allowing Tens to lean back to the B site, and alongside Dapper, the info revealed that Ion's down mid. SONIQS they've basically revealed their entire hand at this point in time, and it's up to Sentinels to see if they can stop them.
Yeah, this is big too. They can play around that sorry, that Viper's pit perimeter, and yeah, they can sneak back all the way back into spawn if they want to, Sully.
Yeah, Zoms, he's in.
Oh my god, they're totally doing it.
Oh my god,
yeah.
all the way around.
SONIQS is
and now they
back.
might encounter someone.
Well, and they're planning towards spawn.
Spike planted.
Oh, this is such a good counteraction. They've got completely against it, but Sully, this is one of the worst spots for you to play it, period. 2 players already rotating towards the back of spawn, and SONIQS now, they have to face on a 2-on-5 at the exact same time. Clicks getting a kill back onto Dapper, but he drops right into the cold hands of Sick. Yeah, okay, funny idea, but certainly not going to be a dub. Great idea with the Sage Wall, though.
Yeah. Oh, that was my main concern, is that, okay, yeah, you playing for backside, but now where do you go? You go back to Snowman, and then literally you're going to end up running into basically everyone. Dapper and Tens were already there at the ready to make that fight happen, and as soon as they walk across, Tens and Dapper are there to meet them. So Sentinels, finding their first round on the board, at the very least. Jet.
Right.
Or apologies, Shazam will have the operator back in his hands. Back to the A site. Another focus here from SONIQS that looks to this B side. Ian has already got a molly lined up. I assume that's going to go towards back yellow to try and force Dapper, or apologies, Zoms out of position. Zoms has been really good with his util so far, right? Causing so much delay, and now he's going to throw that wall up. But what can he do here? As already 4 players, space made by Dizzy, and Zoms has got to try and hold it back, at least to allow rotations to come into the site.
Exactly right. He's just putting on those slow orbs again. Potentially give some better positionings for his teammates. A little bit more time to do so. I do like those shock dart lineups. And indeed, they're going to land right in the middle of defaults. So delaying even more time. And still they're going into the back of sight again, Sully. SONIQS are just bombarding at least every single corner and crevice that this site has to offer. And they're going for the same back site plant. Okay. Sure, this time it's a little bit crossed up too. A couple players over towards yellow box, and 2 players from Sentinels are trapped in the very middle, and Shazam takes down Ian, as Ian was starting to get a little bit cheeky, trying to go for a flank over in the mid side. But Sentinels, they're taking this close for a reason, Sully. This is so hard to navigate.
At this point, it feels almost impossible, right? You've got 2 different angles to clear, and there's so many more possible. Yep, there's that crossfire. And while Shazam's able to get a couple of exits here, it's not going to be enough. It'll all be in vain. 7-1 SONIQS. Such a quick take, right? The idea is that instead of allowing Tens and Dapper to make that rotation, which they did in the last round, is just trying to immediately cut it off and have the surprise factor where you have the control to make that peak. As soon as you want that Viper wall to go down, you can take that fight, and that's what they did. Sentinels concede another round, in SONIQS on this attacking side. This is insane. Sentinels, they're going to be in another eco round. It's another chance for SONIQS to find another round.
And it's funny because I think we had 2 straight rounds where, you know, it is just an absolute util dump in the middle of the B site. And SONIQS almost used that against Sentinels. I don't know, Sully. Are we just seeing a little bit of secret sauce here from SONIQS? Because I'm personally getting a little bit confused watching these plays. But hey, let's get back into it. Oh my gosh,
goodness!
Shazam coming out of nowhere, getting himself 2. All right. So now SONIQS, this is quite the way for them to get up against the ropes. It's gonna be a couple of pushes. The Hunter's Fury coming out at the exact same time. Crunchy pushing back. This could have been a man advantage here, Sully. But Sentinels have thrown it away with that last kill.
Toxins going up.
Now it's up to Zoms here on the B side. Rotation's coming in quick, but he catches Ian. You don't expect Zoms in that position. After all the contact made on A, I think Ian was assuming that Zoms had made a rotation, but not at all. Flicks gives away the information. He still has a showstopper to play off of, so not all done just yet. Noise has been made. Zoms again with a 3-second kill. Can Crunchy really pull this out? 1 versus 3. He knows at least the location of 2, but it's such a tricky site to navigate because there's only 1 plant spot you can really go for, and there's only so many locations you can fall back to. And up against 3, you've got to hit your shots here, my man.
Yeah, he's got to hit the shots, and he's taking damage too. He does utilize that heal a little bit early, and he gets a kill right through the Viper wall. Watch shot around the corner is Tens. And Tens ices it out. So, yeah, awkward score line. Not so awkward round. In all honesty, for Sentinels, they got a little bit too confident, but that was their setup from the beginning.
Yeah, I really like how Sentinels, they've changed it up a little bit. They're taking the fight straight to SONIQS, right? Shazam with that super early dash, comboed with the Hunter Sphere to try and counter. I mean, it's a perfect setup coming out from Sentinels. You force SONIQS to make the move, and with all that space that you take up, you force them essentially to one site, and Zoms was in a perfect position to take down the first player, and then playing around the boxes, playing around that B-bomb site, is able to find the second. They went out the round essentially because of it, and now they're back to a full buy. But SONIQS, with so many credits, I've got no worries whatsoever, and it's Dizzy who's going to pull out the operator this time around as a full focus towards this A side. Dapper's going to get a little bit of early information off the recon bolts, at least reveal where Plix is, and you know he is the main duelist to entry, so now they should be kind of feeling it out. Tens is pushed down B main. The A site should be essentially telegraphed at this point.
Yeah, should pretty much be. I do like that counter. Sagewall, and what is going on there with Dapper? Puts himself in the middle of view. Looking at another angle, but he gets taken down from heaven. SONIQS now, without even making a step into the A site, Sully has 2 kills. Sentinels are now forced to put
they're going back.
their last few bodies, and now they're going right into the crosshair. Tens, oh man. We were expecting Tens to do something there. He gets a singular kill, but this is good for Sentinels. This is a little bit of a moment for them to breathe, and not only that, but they get that revive off. It's a 1-man advantage for SONIQS going into the B site.
So Shazam is already here. The wall is going to go up. Sagewall should go down here as well. The spike plan essentially free, but Shazam putting so much pressure. Crunchy still wants to stick it. He goes down in a 3 versus 3. Another from the backside of Sick, and now it's just down to 2. And both of these players are stuck towards B main. How do they work their way out? There's double blast back and a showstopper for Plix to create space. And other than that, it is tricky. And Shazam again going dangerous. Finds another kill, and now Bob, nothing she can really do. It's a 3rd round for Sentinels, and a perfect play from Shazam to cut down the space.
Yeah, I like how Bob tried to go for the 1-tap too, but certainly she's not able to pull that off in a 1v3. But it is what it is, Sully. Yes, Sentinels. What a round from them. And I think mainly what we saw from Sentinels was just a very fast response to both takes. Very fast response to the A take. You immediately got 3 bodies into the back of sight, and not only that, but the counter stage wall alongside that orb. A lot of things worked out for Sentinels there. It was the early round. Ended a break moment.
Standing ahead.
Oh, Shazam. So close, and he's got Tens right behind him. This is the combo. Gets a kill and dismisses. That's what we've been waiting for. Classic Tens on the Reyna, and he's gonna net at least 2 kills. He could have gone for maybe a little bit extra, but heal comes into play, and Tens, oh man, he's still going for it. He's got a 3rd already. Tens, don't do it to him.
No
Did
way.
he find 4? That's awkward. That is really awkward. 6 gonna get it nonetheless, and well, Sentinels taking the fight again to SONIQS. Huge play from Tens and Shazam to close it again. That space towards the A side. They find a 4th, and now they're looking for a 5th to end the half.
Yeah, it was fiending for it. Yeah, 1 more round to end the half. SONIQS, they still have economic advantage, and not only that, but realistically, only 2 of their ultis. One of them is still charging. Has 2 more charges. By the way, right as I say that, Sully, this is our first cast post-patch. I don't really feel too much of a pace change with those orbs, I'll be completely honest.
No, not really. I mean, it doesn't feel like either team is really focused on getting orbs. It's kind of just been a clash of util dump.
Yeah.
SONIQS, they're going back to the B site. A little bit different of a wall from their snowman push setup. Oh, Tens. He's going to get punished because of that one. Thankfully, there's a trade back from Shazam as he goes hunting for a little bit extra. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out. Does he expect him? No, he's not even looking at that angle. Shazam going to get punished here so easily, and yes, he does. That's cracked open the A side. You know, both of the duelists are down, so retake potential just became so much harder for Sentinels. And going into this A side, Dizzy's not even going to look. Dapper's going to get a free pick, and it's back to a 3-on-3.
Yeah, of course, you would never expect someone to already be an elbow in that position, so is what it is. Dapper gets the kill, and Sick, no way! Sick doesn't get the second free one. Instead, Bob goes away scot-free and is able to heal up too. Plix is still here in the middle of the site, but Plix gets caught with his pants down. What is going on with all these SONIQS players and all their pants are down? Sentinels now have 3 players remaining, trying to fight back the 2-man yellow box swing.
Oh my goodness!
From Crunchy! Crunchy going big and getting 2! Sick and Zoms go down in a heap, and now, off the revive, the Raze is back, and more importantly, the showstopper is here to stop the half. Sully, it's Dapper now in a 1v2. The plant should be able to go down.
It is so winnable. Oh, that's a little bit awkward. Plex, not gonna be able to find anything. Dapper's a little bit afraid. I love the use of that showstopper. It's to ensure that Dapper doesn't try an early swing. He doesn't take the peek. He knows one's back towards yellow, but the other is unknown.
Yeah, I do like that idea. Potentially too wasteful just for a Q, you know, but let's see what happens. Dapper trying to go for at least one shock dart back over towards the yellow box. Knows that Plix is in the back, knows that the other person is in main, so has at least isolated a couple of 1v1s here. Can make sure that at least none of these players swing. Plix staying safe. Crunchy showing face a little bit more. Plix playing a ring around the rosy. Dapper approaching up from behind. He gets Plix. Still one more remaining. Crunchy, run for the hills, my friend. Gotta play around this, and Dapper has no time whatsoever. It's a perfect clutch for Crunchy. He pulls off the 1v3, reviving a player to go with him at the exact same time. But it's wonderful, Sully. It's an 8-4 half for the Australians.
Yo, Red Bull clutch coming out from Crunchy just to close it out. Very well played at that last second. I love how we find those 2 kills. Those 2 were just insane to win out the round, essentially. Gets the revive, and Crunchy knows what he has to do. He hears the spike. It's ticking down to detonation. Just has to dance around the box and playing with Dapper just a little bit. It's 8-4. SONIQS, a very, very strong start to Icebox. And, I mean, while this map is a little bit attacking sided for SONIQS statistically, it's 65 in the attack and 64% on the defense win rate. So they should be just as strong here, but knowing Sentinels, this is their favorite side. We'll see what heat they can bring. Is already they're anchored towards this B site. It doesn't look like they throw the wall up initially, so they might not be committed, but there it goes. Early snake bite to delay, and Ion's going to get some information. They see the Sova, and that should be a strong tell that this might lean towards the B side at least.
Sully, SONIQS have an 85% win rate on this map, and don't really think that 85% is going to lean into the 15. SONIQS is looking really, really good at the moment, and Icebox just might be the one breakaway for them. Let's see how that's set up, though. I do like this counteractive util from Ion, but it's going to take a whole lot more for sure once those toxins actually go down. Great timing from Sentinels. They pull up the Viper wall right at the exact same time. They can make their way right into the middle of yellow. Stop free here, Sully.
Yeah, and Ion immediately backing away. You know this has to be a retake. On a pistol round like this, you need that Viper wall to go down to try and commence the retake. Bob struggling just a little bit for the kill, but she's still going to get it nonetheless. In a 5v4, Dapper's around this corner where he can swing off his teammates.
Okay, Plix going a little bit deep, trying to take down Dapper. It was mainly Dapper going for a little bit more of a wide swing than usual. This orb is covering up to these players from Sentinels, and it just makes this post play a whole lot harder. SONIQS, they combine their efforts, 3-man swing over into the back of yellow box, and that's going to be yet another very, very important round, Sully. That is the pistol round going back to SONIQS.
It's a huge start because now you find 9. You know you're going to be on the stronger bio against Sentinels coming up, so there's a good chance you get 10 here. And I mean, this is scary territory for Sentinels, and honestly, it's pretty much unknown territory. They haven't lost Icebox in such a long time, at least in this fashion. I don't want to put a bad omen on them, but at this rate, something needs to turn around. Sentinels, with that pistol round loss, I was hoping that maybe they go for a light force, but no, we again see more or less the same from our pistol round, or our second round of the last half. 2 Sheriffs, light buy with the pistols to maybe convert here, and SONIQS are going all in. 5 Spectres, they are taking no chances at losing this round.
Are there really any chances to take? Along this line, Sentinels can surely wring you dry, even in an eco round like this, even in a pistol round like this. But yes, we're playing tic-tac-toe with the Viper walls once again, right into the middle of sight. And I like that cheeky angle from Daisy, but even better from Tens. A wide swing and getting a fat headshot in. Oh my! Plix goes down in a heap. It's a 3-on-3. Crunchy coming up from behind at a really good time, but could certainly help out his team just a little bit in terms of heals. Let's see if he runs into anyone, though. There's 2 players into the back of sight. Bob's going to be able to reveal one, and Crunchy ends up getting the kill back. And Zoms at the exact same time sitting in the middle of short elbow. Well, that's the round. 3 players survive for SONIQS. Easy breezy.
And no matter what, SONIQS, there was always some kind of getaway plan, right? If the Viper volley didn't get a kill, already there was Sage on the back line, Crunchy ready for that flank, perfectly timed as well. So Really no chance Sentinels had in winning that, but they made it a little bit costly. Again, it's only 2 kills, nothing too major. Similar to their last bonus that SONIQS had. They're gonna reinvest with a couple of Spectres. I imagine Dizzy is gonna buy a sheriff here alongside Crunchy. It doesn't look like, maybe not. Take flight. Nope, just a classic there for Dizzy. All right then. Still Sentinels, they'll have their full buy back, and they approach at least early on this B site, and you can see the rotations. SONIQS are making the read. They hear that Sova Owl Drone, and they know that the focus, or at least the majority of players, will be towards this B side.
Yeah, no, Owl Drone is a really, really big commitment to actually go for, so it'll be quite the rarity if you see an Owl Drone go around, and it is a little bit more of a fake. Potentially so. SONIQS have kind of been a little bit more taken aback by some of these takes, but look at this over towards mid. It's Crunchy closing up on space, and Dapper was there to cut him off, so... Alright, so the tell for a B take has been broken down, Sully, so instead it's Shazam arcing now that A site, going right around it, making sure that nobody can expect, and still getting himself a second, making a third. No! Plix getting the kill, but only 45 HP left in a 1v4. No chance. Sully, what a setup. Even having that lurk in that position, how did Shazam even get there? How did Shazam stay there?
Yeah, you gotta love it from Sentinels, right? They find that first pick onto Crunchy that works their way back, and then there's just so much uncertainty for SONIQS, and suddenly Sentinels have a really good opportunity to work their way back into A site. And Shazam, who's in this perfect spot, who was lurking there essentially the entire round, waiting for that moment. As soon as Dapper finds that kill, opens things up, and Sentinels, they at least have a 5th. They've won their full buy, but it's SONIQS who will be back on one of their own.
This could surely break the back of SONIQS.
Oh my goodness.
My word! Yeah! Oh my word! It's not only breaking their backs, it's breaking their heads. Sully, what a headshot from Shazam! What a dash! And now this B side is wide open. There's only one person here. Wow.
It's just broken this entire B defense, and Ian's like, what do I even do? Trying to retake a little bit of ground. You've lost completely towards alt mid. And Dapper is still towards B main, but Plix is good for at least the first onto 10s. That'll at least break up a little bit of the defense, but you still have to worry about Shazam. He is in such a good angle to cut down the play from mid side. And Ian, he's got to get really good timing here as the wall starts to come down.
It's not just Ian that needs to get good coverage. It's Crunchy! Crunchy, unbelievably so, waltzing right into the back lane. And Dizzy now coming in at a perfect time. Gonna be able to get one. Dapper now still with that shock dart going right under the smoke from long range. Gonna be able to get one. Still, the defuse coming in from Dizzy. Still has a Hunter's Theory. And the amount of delay from Dapper does it. Sentinels sneaks away around from SONIQS.
And he was the player that came back from B main. He knew that as soon as SONIQS took that space into alt mid, he was going to reroute himself back and be there for that post plant. That is expertly done for the Red Bull clutch from Dapper. Huge, huge plays coming out from him. And Sentinels, they at least have the 6. They are staying alive in this first map. And SONIQS, it is close. It's not enough. You have to find a way to outthink your opponents. And in that round, Dapper did everything.
Dapper had all of the pivotal util at the end of the round too, and you can't really take anything away from his teammates either, just delaying time as much as possible in the middle of sight, but SONIQS doing a great job of just navigating that defense, made it all possible. But Sully, yet another round, and it's Sentinels with a fast takeover towards that B site. SONIQS has been left out in the dirt with a couple of pistols, and this one is not looking all too good for him.
Oh, and Ian's trying to use that little gap double swing as well, reinforced by Bob. She's going to support Ian for that first kill. Heal can go in, and keep in mind, Gus, there is a showstopper in play. Plix can take up so much space and even maybe find a kill in this 4 versus 5, but the revive for Sentinels, it's going to be really big if Sick can play the buddy system with one of his teammates.
To really make this worth it, they need to get some information. They need to know who is where, and oh my, again. Plix went into the showstopper, completely dry Sully, and he gets punished for it. Taken away from midair, and now it's only one person remaining for SONIQS after Crunchy and Dizzy go down. It's Shazam with a 2K taking down Ian. 10-7. So Sentinels, yeah, no, that's kind of what we expected from that round. Maybe not with the steps in the middle, including that showstopper, but it's pretty cool that we landed here. 7-10, and the bye will come back to SONIQS.
Really big kill from Sick, because if you allow that showstopper to slip through and break your defensive line, next thing you know, players will be forced back deeper into B main. Obviously, Sick could have gone down there immediately as soon as that showstopper comes into play, so Big kill coming out on that post plant. But SONIQS, you said they'll be back on their full buy. They're looking a little bit more aggressive towards B main. I think they want to try and early challenge this, and Shazam doing the exact same dash, routing their way back. It's the exact same plan where Dapper had that 1v1 clutch off the showstopper, off the Hunter's Fury. They're doing it once more here, but they're a little more prepared here, SONIQS.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A couple more bodies here, a little bit more util, and there you go! No way! Sully, you mentioned it. They were way more prepared. The ultimate could have definitely stopped things, but they're still fighting back. Still going to be 2 kills going back and forth. Sick going all the way back to try to get that revive. And man, oh man.
Boost.
Crunchy. Yeah, no, there you go. There goes that boost. And wow. I keep saying wow because I'm shook, Sully. Yet another play where that Sage wall goes up, and it's another fake. This is great from Sentinels, but okay, SONIQS still able to get off a couple. Crunchy reviving Ian at the exact same time, so Sentinels with their risky mission ends up losing out 2 players at the exact same time.
And I don't even know if you can get the spike down here. Bob is going to cause a delay. Snakebite goes in as well to at least give Zoms a little more room to work with, but this Viper wall, you don't know what waits on the other side, so it has to go down before you make that approach, and those seconds, valuable seconds, give time for SONIQS to make rotations, and well, they will get it down. They've got no post-lane util the back on. It's all up to their aim, and Dapper, not going to be enough. Zoms in the 1v3 has activated the Viper's mid, but everyone is spamming him down. He's still going to be able to find one, but Dizzy coming out from screens is going to ice things out. 7-11, SONIQS, a huge round to pick up to break the back of Sentinels here.
If we're being completely honest, if there's ever an ulti that can allow you to pull off a 1v3 like that, it would have to be the Viper Spit. So, not exactly a terrible idea, but certainly not going to help them out in this little last run. Considering the fact on how easy, actually, some of these takes have been for Sentinels, I would like to think that a Viper's Pit for a post plant would be super helpful in just trying to steal away around. I think that's just me thinking out loud, but Sully, SONIQS is just doing good at the moment, man.
There's really no other way to put it. Again, this is like that benchmark. This is that evolution that SONIQS have gone through. It's been 2 to 3 months since these 2 teams last played, and SONIQS, they've been through it, man. They've played so many Tier 2 events, and it's all showing up. People have been saying that the Tier 2 seed is catching up, but that's
this
evident just from yesterday,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's more so here now than ever. And SONIQS, if they can get the 12th year, they break Sentinel's economy, they can maybe find a win. Dizzy playing super up close, has a dash to get out if he's able to find 1 kill.
Dizzy could have totally just gotten a kill there. There was a slower going right towards him, but he wants to stay cheeky. He wants to stay back. Good wall over towards that short side.
Oh,
and
no!
Dizzy! No! The crossfire works! Shazam and Ten's looking at the exact same spot. Shazam actually got a flick off of that. So gonna be Plix trying to get a kill, but it's actually the nade getting a kill in the back of the wall. SONIQS still in the man advantage. Dapper looking towards the back. 3v3. And the spike still cannot go down.
Oh my
Plix!
goodness.
Such a good time for that swing. At the exact same time, it's Crunchy too. Dapper in a 1v3 has a Hunter's Fury, but it's so hard as now SONIQS are going to the buddy system. 2 players sticking right next to each other, arm in arm, are going to take this team to a 12th round against what is, Sully, debatably the best team in the world.
That is expertly played from SONIQS. The wall coming out from Crunchy to reroute players to the other side of Jenny. And there lies 2 to 3 players. Plix and Crunchy finding immaculate kills to win them this round. I mean, Plix off of that nade and the more pressure onto Tens. That spike, it was never going down if I'm being completely honest. There was just too much pressure created. And Sentinels found themselves in that impossible situation to win out. SONIQS, util dump at its finest. And they are on mat point.
And not a lot of space to go through, too. I love the util going back from SONIQS, just stopping Sentinels in the middle of their tracks. Now, it's going to be Sentinels trying to make their path a little bit easier. This Hunter's Fury could be able to ping a couple, but was only able to get 1. Good counter Sage wall early on from Crunchy, but it's immediately blasted back. There goes a big nade, getting big damage. But Plix still looking over towards that back line. No spike has gone down just yet. Shazam sitting in the middle of tube. There's 3 players over towards mid. That could be his next target. Shazam wants to go in, but Bob peeks in at a good time. The timing for Shazam doesn't work. Plix going in. 2-man advantage now for SONIQS. Sentinels, they are going down bit by bit. 1 more player remaining, and it's Somso in a 1v4, and the showstopper stops it all. Map number 1 goes to Australia. It goes to Oceania. SONIQS has it.
And we'll be right back to break it all down. There is just too much that's going on.
Oh.
Which brings me to my next point. Do we think KO would date an air fryer?
Dude,
I
Jacob,
think it's
Jacob.
consider-
I hacked into
What?
VCT, bro. We're in VCT.
Oh.
This is our
Oh my
chance.
God,
Okay,
hey,
what's up, VCT
hi,
chat?
hi,
We have a big
everyone.
announcement for you guys.
A super big
Okay,
announcement.
so
But first, do you think KO would date an air fryer? I
no,
think it's something
Jake,
that's very
no,
possible.
Jake, nope. We don't have that much time, dude. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. Don't have that much time. Okay, you're muted. That's it. Hi, VCT chat. What's up? I'm Alex. This is Jacob. We're Loading Screens hosts every Tuesday and Thursday this month at 11 a.m. on Twitch and YouTube. We're going to be giving away $50 Valorant gift cards. $50 Valorant gift cards Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. on Loading Screen right here. Okay, announcement done. Jacob, do you have anything you would like to say?
Yes.
Okay, what?
Do you think that
No!
would date Boombot?
Jacob,
I think it's something we should
no!
Change of range.
Wow. Welcome back. It is, of course, Sentinels versus SONIQS that has the attention of everyone at the moment for one very important thing. Sully, the score is currently 1-0 going over towards Oceania. Yes, SONIQS is currently 1-0 over Sentinels, and I mean, what a map it was.
This is astonishing, to be completely honest. I mean, we knew that this map pool was playing to both team strengths, but if you want to compare this first best of 3 or the first best that these two teams played to this one now, it's a completely different SONIQS. I mean, the utility was flawless, right? Don't get me wrong, but everyone seemed to be clicking. I think it was Flix that posted earlier today, said, I am feeling it, and he was feeling it this whole series. Just look at this clutch, the master play from him. And I mean, SONIQS, if they can keep this up, yes, they've got a 1-0 scoreline. They could honestly find themselves with a 2-1 or a 2-0. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Whoa,
Man,
yeah.
SONIQS are bringing the heat.
Yeah, not yet. Sully, you know, just to add on to that, you know, maybe don't overreact. This was the map pick of SONIQS. This is a map that they're very, very comfortable on, and it's not just because it's their map pick, but statistically, we have seen the absolute biggest bangers from SONIQS on this map alone. I mean, you think about it, right? SONIQS versus Renegades, game after game, and then the game against Sentinels when they first came to NA. Icebox is just bound to be a good one for SONIQS, and this time, they were the ones that closed it out. They have been having a lot of trouble closing out games in the last few months, Sully, but against one of the best teams in the world, they were able to do it pretty cleanly.
Yeah, I think one thing that we didn't get to mention at the very start of this, or at least in our pre-show, is that Sentinels typically, when it comes to these kind of matches where they get really, really close, or they at least struggle to find any footing, it's against teams, or at least agent compositions that are designed for utility dump, and that's what we saw from SONIQS, right? So many smokes going down, right? The use of utility from SONIQS was just overwhelming to Sentinels, and a really good example of Sentinels struggling against teams that are util dump heavy is a team like Fnatic, right? They struggled to close out games. Every single one went to 24 rounds or plus against them, and SONIQS are bringing the heat with that utility heavy composition.
Yeah, it's mainly going to come down to like the double controller, and I like the point that you brought up with Fnatic because they were playing around with like different little bunches of Sentinels, and it's going to be the exact same thing with this core. I don't really know if we're going to be seeing that Viper, you know, throughout every map. I think we might, except for like maybe one from SONIQS. But yeah, I mean, that's almost literally what SONIQS have been going for the last few months. You get a couple of characters that has a lot of util and throw it at Sentinels, hope for the best. And this one just kind of worked. This one was more controlled chaos for sure. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, did you guys know that good old Credit Karma likes to help us here at VCT? Well, to give some love back and to give some love for SONIQS, let's talk about an instant karma moment. Sully, you remember this one for sure, right? It was a clutch too.
Yeah, I mean, Crunchy was really kicking it off in that at least 1v3 from the get-go, brings it to a 1v1, and he really plays perfectly, I'd say, with his teammate, right? Flix is there not necessarily to win the round, to at least allow Crunchy to sit in a really good position and win out this round, as it was so deserved after that quick two-piece. Sentinels, this was kind of where things maybe started to fall apart, I'd say, and SONIQS really found their ground. It's moments like these that give kind of that elevation to the SONIQS playstyle.
I think that also gives a little bit of a feeling of instant karma. Thank you again to Credit Karma for helping us out here at the VCT. And yeah, wow. So we go through map number 1. We're going into map number 2. Let's refresh ourselves on the map pool. Icebox going by first, Bind to second, Haven third. I think this is probably the perfect map pool for us here, Sully, with this certain matchup.
Yeah, I've been saying, I mean, this entire map pool plays to both team strengths. It's the 3 best maps that both of these teams have. And Bind, well, Sentinels, let me remind you, this used to be their insta-ban, and then they just beat Fnatic out of nowhere in Reykjavik. So this being their map pick, they're currently 5-0. If they can beat one of the best teams in the world, a team that was undefeated until they matched up against Sentinels on Bind, you hope Sentinels can bring the same heat on Bind against SONIQS. But we did say that on Icebox, and look what happened.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, man. But Sentinels, you got to remember that maps like Bind and Haven were their bread and butter during Masters. So can we really expect them to let off the gas pedal? Don't really think so. But folks, of course, our second map is actually going to be up in just a few moments after this break, so you do not want to miss it at all. It's a comeback now for SONIQS. Let's see if they can keep it running and see if they can maybe pick up the upset.
push ourselves, we can never go further than when we push each other. Alone, we are small. But together, we become giants.
And welcome on back. It is Bind. It is the Agent Select. I get no breaks whatsoever. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Playoff Saturday here between SONIQS and Sentinels. It's map number 2. Sully, it's Bind. Run us through the Agent Select.
Let me rub my eyes real quick to make sure I'm seeing things right.
Whoa!
Yoru.
I just saw it!
Tens is playing Yoru.
No
I must
way!
be losing my mind. Dude,
No
forget about
way!
every other Agent comp pick. Tens is playing Yoru. Somebody sounds some kind of alarm. Shot Up is turning in his grave right now. He played Tens. He played Yoru all throughout the first 2 days, and Tens is doing it here.
Dude, Shot Up wanted that like you said, he wanted that glory. He wanted to be the guy to pull out Yoru on the mainstream, but here we are.
All right then. Okay, well, I'm not going to focus too heavy on Tens. We can theory craft all we want. I'm going to theory craft that it's a misclick. It's not a misclick. Tens is actually
not a
Yoru.
misclick.
Okay, alright, so I just completely voided every single part of the SONIQS composition, but what you need to know is they are going to be dumping util all over this map, right? You look at this composition, it is made for post-plan. Viper mollies, Brim molly, shock darts, paint shell nades. Expect the same that we saw in Icebox, nothing more than utter chaos from SONIQS.
Oh my word, I'm ready for it. I am ready for it. Yoru making its debut here, for Tens at least. And this one's going to be a fun one. Early on, Sully, we're seeing a default on map 2.
Yeah, early on, it's going to be Sentinels that look to at least sell a fake to the A side. And I love this. Normally, the cue is that you see Shazam playing on that Sova towards the A side, and look at the rotations. Tens has made that TP. I see why he's using Yoru now, and they have sold the fake perfectly.
They really have, and it's working out. Sully's sick now from around the corner. Still has that boom bot. They're going to be able to use it. Dizzy trying to run away, and it's Tens and Zoms combining at the exact same time for 2 very quick kills on sites. SONIQS, however, they still have Bob over towards that elbow side. Going to be able to get a quick one, but still not a lot of HP back for Bob. Bob has to wait up for her teammates to actually make their way over. Watch out for Shazam, though. Shazam might have gotten spotted by Ian, and they still want to go for that 1v1, and Ian ends up winning. Both players now remaining over towards long. It's a crossfire between Zoms and Tens. Tens going for that first peek, not going to reveal where Zoms is whatsoever. This is actually a great spot for Zoms.
Oh my goodness,
Tens! Tens works out with a flash. Ian does get that kill back. 13 HP left on Zoms. Ian is low. Ian needs to go for the wide swing, and now needs to go for the defuse, which he has time to do so. Wow, okay. We went through quite a few heaps and bounds to make it to this point, Sully, but SONIQS has the round.
Yeah, a really huge opener from both sides. Sentinels, you saw the idea to sell a fake to that A side. The wall goes up to set up the exec. Shazam and Tens make huge contact plays. And look at this. You just cannot punish that, right? Tens, as soon as he feels any danger, as soon as his team has walked up long, he makes that TP. That is the effectiveness of Yoru. But again, SONIQS, they did a really, really good retake here. And honestly, a little bit of luck from Ian to find that kill into Tens immediately after. And it's unfortunate that Zombs isn't there for the swing. But SONIQS, similar to our first map, they pick up the pistol, and they do so right after with a full buy.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we have to go back into yet another round. It's a second round conversion that SONIQS might be a little bit desperate to try to pick up because this B side is about to get crunched.
Oh, Dizzy nearly caught up, and he is. Tens is able to punish. Gate Crash not out just yet, but sick. A quick jump out. There's just too much focus on the Tens, and they're able to catch out Bob. She goes down, and Crunchy in the middle of Tin Can. Nothing he can really do there. And that's the Sentinels we know and love. A quick crunch into the site, and they're going to take out the round here unless Blix can do something.
Yeah, let me remind you here, Sully. Yes, it is a little bit more of a force here from some of the players from Sentinels, but in all reality, it was just a couple of Deegs. They are able to pick up SMGs. They're able to pretty much make it into a bonus, as now SONIQS has nothing to work with going into this next round. Yes, that is correct. A tie score line between SONIQS and Sentinels going into round number 3, and SONIQS is off way worse than their opponents were in just that last round. They have nothing to work with.
I feel like we say that, but Sentinels just did it on the Sheriffs. Who's
This
to say
is
that
a
SONIQS can't, right?
Where's the armor? I think utility is getting, you know, sacrificed to. I think this one's a little bit worse in all reality. Maybe, potentially. The Deagles could work. The sidearms are fun. And early on, Sully, it's yet another default position where Sentinels are actually doing some pretty cheeky work over towards these back lines. An orb battle and a battle for short ends up laying around 4 bodies. 3 bodies.
Trade out 2 for 2. Sentinels, don't know if they want to commit. Looks like they are. Yeah, fake Yoru steps into the truck. Where are the rotations here yet from SONIQS? I think they're not fully sold on the fact that this isn't a hit. I think that's due in part to Tens tossing out those fake footsteps. Now the rotations surely have to come in. Crunchy is up top. He's not really going to be able to find much as he's instantly punished from Tens. Still has the gate crash now to use if he wants to go from a different angle. So now SONIQS have to worry about that TP. Dizzy's at least going to be able to pick up a Spectre, but I don't think there's much they can really do. They have the lesser guns, and Shazam already spotting out the first. They know the second's in heaven. Yeah, an unwinnable position here coming out from SONIQS. And Sentinels, they'll surely have the second round. Hold on, pause, wait a minute. There's still a chance. Thankfully, Shazam is there to clean things up nicely.
Hold on, wait a minute. You thought they were finished? Dizzy is actually going to be able to get another one, and Shazam is the last one alive. Sully, the investments, at least for Sentinels, going a little bit more off to the wayside.
Yeah, so I realized, like, mid-sentence, I was like, I shouldn't say anything because I forgot Dizzy had a Spectre and he had a chance to maybe make
there was something there.
Right, but it was close. It was close. And yeah, Tens losing this, so I was like, okay, wait a second. This is a little worrying. But Sentinels, you expected them to win that round. I think it was a little bit too close for their liking, but thankfully because they won that second round force buy, their economy is in a pretty strong position where they could still muster a strong buy. And Shazam will have a lot of credits left over. Really, the only one punished is Tens, who has 0 credits at the moment.
unfortunately. But it goes at the expense of this, Sully. The dimensional drift finally going through. Tens. Oh, okay, bobbing and weaving through this B site, leaving everything out in disarray. He runs right in the middle of everyone, TPs away, and has essentially dragged away all this pressure away from Hookah at the exact same time. Viper's Pit going up too. It's a plethora of util right in the middle of this B site, and it's an absolute mob. Sick is still in that back line. Bob and Dizzy have left. Sentinels now have full control. Bob's still gonna be able to get another one, yet another Viper's Pit just to try to make their way in. Sick Curly at 1 HP has to run away, and it's a Venn diagram of util here on site. What on earth is going on? The spike's still finally going down. Ian right in the middle, gonna be able to take down Tens. Sick with another kill back. It's still a 2-on-3. It's still a 1v3. SONIQS' Viper's Pit, theirs gonna go down. Dapper's still alive. That Hunter Fury not hitting him. And that spike half planted in the middle of the ground. I've never seen that, by the way. Half planted right in the middle.
30 seconds
30
left.
seconds left, though. Dapper playing Ring Around the Rosie. It is pure chaos, Sully, but it is finally subsided.
I have the spike.
Cleared out at least the front part of site, but Dapper, where do you even run? Is he really
Dude,
going to
no
make a
way.
mad dash
He
into
can't.
TP?
He can't.
No, surely not. Not enough time at this point. Maybe with 20 seconds he had an opportunity, but he's going to tap the spike. Oh my god, so many runs coming out from the back of CT spawn. But Dizzy, they're just in the nick of time as Dapper was looking for the headshot. Sentinels, they're going to concede a second round of SONIQS. And now the economy maybe becomes a little bit more worrisome. Tens was the worry part of the economy last round where he had 0 credit, so he's not going to be able to get a drop here. And because he's not playing maybe Arena or a Jet, he can't really use the knives. He can't really afford a sheriff here, and he could be punished very easily. So it's Sentinels on a strong buy. Minus Tens, who was on a sheriff, but it is still, you know, it is still Tens on a sheriff, so you never know.
It is still Tens on a sheriff who ended up getting like, I think he still got like 6 or 7 kills just off of the sheriff in the last game.
And there it is.
And there he gets another one, of course. Tens with a side angle, threading the needle, getting the first headshot, getting the entry duel, more importantly. Just like that, SONIQS has left a little bit more in towards that back line. Ian, he's pinged, and he's finally gonna go down. That Hunter's Fury chases him down, and Sentinels, without stepping one bit into that A site, has gotten themselves 3 kills now. Shazam! Gaining down Dizzy, who was trying to run away. Wow. SONIQS are just done for, Sully. This is a send round.
You gotta love the explosion from Sentinels. As soon as Tens finds that first frag, Shazam is quick to get the ult orb, get it online, and find a pick in the back site. And it's a great util combination because Dapper tosses a snake bite into that back corner, kind of restricting the movement. That Ion could really move around that back side, and there's no way you can dodge the Hunter 3 if you're cornered in the back site. So SONIQS conceding the round back to Sentinels. It's a back and forth, a tug of war, and SONIQS, unfortunately, this was not a strong round. This just didn't even look like they were in the competition, but they will save at least 1 rifle. But it's just a consolation at this point in time. Sentinels 3-2. And well, like we said, Tens with a sheriff is just as deadly with anyone with a rifle.
Yeah. And it's a little rough too, because we give the spotlight to Tens, but Shazam really pulling a whole ton of weight just throughout that entire round. Well done from Shazam, not only getting that first pick over towards that A site, but of course that Hunter's Fury helps. This is a bigger round now, Sully, though. SONIQS is starting to play around a little bit more with their economy. Their utility may not be up to snuff, but this could still be a big opportunity for them to play around with this 3-2 formation. Sentinels doesn't have a perfect idea on where to go.
I think they're just going to work out a default. So again,
Yeah.
typically on Bind, normally where the Sova is, the majority of players are going to be in. With so much success so far on this A side, it's smart for SONIQS to make this stack and Plix. Able to shut down Tens right off the rip. They're not going to be able to retrieve that rifle for Dizzy, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's at least an opening to kick things off, and it's weakened at least this A attack where now you don't really have that entry. You still have 6 double blast back and Showstopper, but on the A side, it is so difficult to clear these corners with it.
Oh, it's going to start with a Showstopper. Sick. Utilizing one of his satchels. Going to utilize a second to try to get a kill. It's Shazam getting the kill onto Plix. So, yeah, that Showstopper doesn't really matter, but instead it is going to be 2 kills going back and forth for both teams. Sentinels still going to be able to survive with a 2v2, but that orbital strike coming in right as Sully says it, of course. 50 seconds left. It's Crunchy still with a little bit of utility. That orbital strike did nothing as the spike goes into the green box. This is a tough crossfire, but they do have a flank here, Sully.
It might even, I mean, the Orbital Strike reroutes the position to maybe even a better spot for Sentinels, knowing that the flank was coming through short, and Shazam, he's going for a flank of his own. So much heat taken right onto Dapper, and it's just to allow Shazam to swing. He knows he's forced one here. Apologies. She knows she's forced one, at least into showers. For the second, it is such a difficult crossfire with Shazam up in heaven. Shock Dart not even going to connect. Bob, nothing she can do here except wait death. As Dapper playing with his food, nothing really could be done. And 4-2 for Sentinels. A little bit of a shaky execution and a shaky start with TenZ going down early on. They do find a way to recover off of that double blast back showstopper.
Yeah, which is good because again, that is such an important ultimate, especially nowadays. Sully, I mean, he got bumped up all the way up to 8 ult points. That showstopper is basically a guaranteed kill. They weren't able to get anything off of it, just a little bit more space. So again, very good job for them at least getting off of that, and still just overwhelming with the amount of bodies that they even had on site. But it's the anticipation from SONIQS that I'm worrying about, Sully, because some of these players, they seem a little bit shaky on the rotation.
Okay. No worries here. 2-man push down. Fake footsteps into showers to maybe sell some presence, and Shazam. A nice grab as well just to clear the right cubby behind the boxes. It should be a free plant here, but Bob, okay. She's going to come up huge with at least the first. TenZ is just not having it against these taps. And Bob, a second one from her, and Dizzy even chimes in. A 2 versus 2. And Bob, she's picked up at least a Phantom. 6 bullets and they take the team. But look who's already here. Look who's already here. Iron sitting in wait.
Iron sitting right in the middle of sight, anticipating this rotation. Iron's such a great spot. Could be able to pop. There goes Dapper. Lands right in the middle of his crosshair. And now it's just Zoms in a 1v2. Lands right into Iron again, but Iron can't get the kill, can't get the headshot. Oh, Bob. She has to pull this off with only 2 or 3 HP, I think, Sully. Zoms, it's just a gust of wind that would be able to take them into this dub, but man, 30 seconds left. Still no spike plant. It's just a little bit of a game of cat and mouse. Bob has no clue where her opponent is.
She thinks he's rotating as well. Zombie has 2 stars to play with. By the time she's already made the rotation, it's too late. Like you said, a gust of wind. And Bob has a Phantom. So she needs to try and close this distance and get a headshot to win out this fight. Zoms can hit any part of the body, and he's going to aim for the chest. 5th round for Sentinels, but man, that was extremely, extremely close.
Yeah, a little bit too close. Great job from Ian, though. Oh, we get a clutch out of that, of course, from earlier. Love to see this. Ian, it was a great approach, great attempt. The Red Bull clutch simply going in the hands of Zoms, though. It was a 1v2 for Zoms. Yeah. Well played. Well played. This next round's going to be a little bit tougher, though.
Oh, look at the setup again. We saw this in the pistol round. TenZ is throwing his gate crash towards the B side, and they're going to do, again, that same contact into showers. See if Sick can maybe disrupt the hookah setup and get control while his other 2 teammates scour the map elsewhere. But it's a pretty heavy plate from SONIQS towards long. You have got both Dizzy and Bob, who is just used her owl drone to try and get this information. The gate crash play to the B site doesn't look to be the most optimal, but it looks like instead the play is towards hookah. And while TenZ has got at least the first ult orb, they don't have any long control. Yes, they've got hookah, but that's the main concern. In this setup, it's not the most optimal. You really can't support anyone on site, and TenZ is going to get the first contact, but Dizzy in a prime position to get 1 kill and immediately dismiss out.
Oh my god, who do you remember making a play like this? It was TenZ that did this to Fnatic. That same Viper wall over towards long can certainly play out time, but no, the Viper wall goes down, and it was TenZ that got the kill. Of course it was TenZ. TenZ knows the play, and Dizzy goes down in a heap in such a good off angle. So instead now it's going to be Sentinels just bouncing right on in on sight, and a little bit of Astra util too. We haven't talked too much about the effect of the Astra pick just yet, but I'm sure we could do that a little bit later. Plix going in, getting a kill off that nade, and a showstopper at the exact same time, gonna be able to get a kill onto Dapper, and Bob gets 1-2. 2v2, incredibly low HP on Plix, but Plix still gets the headshot onto Shazam. Zoms now a very possible 1v2, and makes it happen again. Zoms, the clutch minister for Sentinels, gets himself yet another Red Bull clutch.
To another Red Bull clutch for Zoms. Right when they need him, he strikes. I mean, both players are already such low HP, but he had perfect positioning, and the swing timing from SONIQS made all of that possible. Look at this positioning, right? Nade comes in, knows where the first is, and he immediately flicks to the second. Very well done from Zom in the 1v2. And SONIQS, they're going to be kicking themselves. They know that's a round they should be winning, but they can't find the victory. Sentinels up 6-2, and it resets SONIQS once more.
Deploying drone.
This is the taste of their own medicine, in all honesty. SONIQS, they were the ones resetting Sentinels round after round in the last map, and now SONIQS, they're the ones in economic trouble. But the pistol still works, Sully. I don't really know we could call any of these ecos inefficient. We've always seen at least like 2 to 3 kills back from these teams on ecos. I don't think we've seen a flawless eco round or anti-eco round yet.
Oh, this is huge. 2 kills. Oh, sick. Instantly denying him the opportunity. Nade in the back as well, anticipating the cross. And Bob, she's going to swing right on through. She's been good with her sheriff so far, but with 4 players and so many angles to watch, Shazam take the bait, and he does. He thought it was Bob that he should be worried about, but Crunchy up close is going to find a third. This is a huge damage to Sentinels. It's not going to be too much economically, as they have so much credit stacked up, and yeah, they'll take the TP out. Free plant coming into the B side, and Sentinels with their 7th, most likely.
Yeah, I love how much of a desperation play that was too. Crunchy just launches in that volley right through the wall, right into teleporter. You know, just in case they want to go through, they have to run into a pit of inferno, but a little bit mal-timed, and Sentinels was taking a couple of steps ahead. AKA, they were already stepping into the middle of teleporter when that happened. Another round here, Sully. Look at the ultis on Sentinels.
All 5 lined up. Tens has been good, especially when using his ultimate for reconnaissance, right? And now you have the opportunity to use the Owl Drone and the Dimensional Drift to get info into this B site. Sick is going to do, again, his same setup into Hookah, Boomba, and then the nade to force and put players in their place. But it's an early ult into A site. And Ian, he's going to sit right in the corner. That's the exact same spot that Dapper sits there in his Viper's pit. So maybe, just maybe, they can make that read. But it's going to clog up this entire A main position. Tens is actually going to go in with the reconnaissance off the Dimensional Drift. First, the Owl Drone to go out instead, though. When SONIQS, all of this space taken up, what can you expect from them? 2 players on this A site, and Tens is he knows that he's forced at least the Viper out of position, and Sick is again going to take this space.
Love the info play, but it's going to have to come out to Sick. Sick has to get a kill here. What just happened? Did Plix just outplay Sick by satcheling on top of green box? 1000 IQ. Well done. That's desperation at its finest. 2 players down now for Sentinels, and this Viper's pit is just such a roadblock. None of these players from Sen can make their way through. The Spike is now isolated over in Bathroom. It's just all too tough, and now in comes Dizzy on the flank too, covering up Shazam. Zoms is now the last one remaining in a 1v5. Gonna be able to get one. Still has a Cosmic Divide.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, it's still very much a tall task, though. A couple of taps here and back can at least give Zoms a little bit of a chance to break apart the eco of SONIQS, which hasn't exactly solidified yet. But the overall theme of the round, Sully, SONIQS just took a 3rd. Pretty good one at that.
Yeah, as soon as they realized that the Dimensional Drift comes in, they knew that Tens was just the forerunner and he was just looking for information. And they could have expected immediately after, as soon as Tens gets that info, for the showstopper to come into play. That double blast pack, huge outplay from Plix, the blast pack on top of Tetris. And then that orbital strike to disrupt that entrance, right? As Sick goes in, orbital strike breaks up that offensive line, and next thing you know, Sick is in a 1v3 blast packing into the middle of a bomb site. And SONIQS breaking up that offensive line will pick up the 3rd. 1 casualty amassed. Apologies, 2 casualties amassed. And Sentinels themselves still with a couple of credits in their bank account, have just enough again to reinvest and see if they can maybe muster another round. It's 7-3. We're coming down to the last 2 rounds, and once more, it's Sentinels who are leaning again to this B site with an early play from SONIQS down towards A short.
Gonna be Sick on the front lines. There you go. Sick consistently getting some insane entry frags, and this time it's yet another one. Look at that combo. No way Dizzy can escape from that. Oh my, the snake bite alongside the satchels ends up getting a big kill. SONIQS still with only 2 players remaining, still getting kills with only 2 players remaining. Let's see what Ian can try to pull off, equalizes things under 2v2. Trade back from Sick, but no! Ian still gets the kill off of the swing. Out of nowhere, it's Shazam now in a 1v2. Gets tagged out, running right towards Bob. Bob gets a headshot right through the wall, and that is another run for SONIQS.
I like the idea for at least Shazam in that position. He's like, okay, I know where the Elbow drone came from. I know that my teammate Tens died into Elbow. I'm just going to try and pressure the situation and maybe put myself in a better position to win the 1v1. But SONIQS somehow are able to recover that round after Dizzy goes down to a snake fight and a nade combination. It really didn't look good, at least for SONIQS in this one. Yeah, Dizzy loses his life here. And somehow, Ein is able to muster 2 kills out of literally thin air. And SONIQS, they will have a 4th. Now they're looking for their fit to close out this half. But right now, again, it's Sentinels who are in pretty good control. They're by maybe not echoing that same thought, but it's the last one of the half. You do what you can with the guns you've got.
Standing ahead.
Yeah, there's a couple of steps involved for Sentinels to be able to make their way onto B site, and one of them could be that Guardian making an opening. I do like that boost over towards Long. But early on, it's Sentinels taking a lot of control over towards Hookah. Nobody from SONIQS even playing contact over towards that area. Love that Molly. Gonna stop things for just a little bit. Bob right through the Nebula. Gonna be able to get the kill at the Tens. As Tens thought that he was a little bit sleeker than usual. This Viper's Pit, however, gonna be the opening up from Hookah. Crunchy in the back of sight. Gonna be able to take down Shazam. And Zombs, there you go. It's the Guardian going nuts. Crunchy. Oh, that double spray down. Got one through the smoke. Took down Sick at the exact same time. Now it's Dapper in a 1v3.
And he's even going to make the rotation. They don't know this exactly. By the time they get there, he should have a plan. Is he going to double route this? He might just go back in. No, I think instead he's going to try and plant for short here in this position. I love this rerouting as well from Dizzy. Takes it back towards U-Haul. That's the exact last possession you expect someone to be in. But Dapper, mind games on mind games, goes back to the B site. He's got no util. All he's got to rely on is nothing but aim.
Maybe that one poison orb, that helps. Covering up just a little bit of space. Dapper is going to close in that space. Toxin would have to go down, and Dapper... Dapper wants it! Dapper! Playing peekaboo with SONIQS! Getting 2 to win out the clutch! Unreal!
That is textbook Red Bull clutch stuff from Dapper. Listen, I've said it over and over again. When you are in a disadvantage, you need to create an advantage for yourself. And Dapper, again, 500 IQ, TP to A, TP back to B, and that poison orb literally won him the round. The one bit of utility that was left on this B site, I don't know if he had that plan in his mind, and if he did, somebody get this guy an IQ test because he's blowing through the roof right now. SONIQS 4-8, Sentinels mustering in the final round of that half as they approach into this pistol. And SONIQS now in the attacking side. This is where you expect this composition to shine. So much util to dump on the sites. We'll have to wait and see.
When we go again, you said the util dump would have to come into play. Sentinels, at least now on that defensive side, they already started off a little bit well. There goes that one way off the Nebula. Sick. He wants to find an early nade to get any sort of info here on short. It would be huge for Sick. Whoa! Plix jumping in off that satchel. Gonna be able to get a kill at the Sick. Still goes back. Zombs getting 2 with that frenzy. Great spray down. Shazam coming up from behind, super quick. Tens is right in the middle of the back too, but it's very isolated. He was playing around the smoke, and now Shazam can play Crossfire right towards the middle of sights. This is actually such an inopportune sandwich that SONIQS has themselves in, and Shazam just has to keep his angle, and everything can work out. Tens still towards that back line. Shazam still getting another one. Playing time. Bob has to go for the swing, and she goes down in a heap. It's Shazam with 3 big kills to finish off the round. Sentinels with the all-important pistol.
Perfect delay as well. There was a little bit of a gravel that came out from Zombs towards A short as SONIQS began to approach the site, and it was a perfect bait. They wanted SONIQS to walk into this stack, right? There were already 3 players in rotation. One took the TP. Tens was already running to the site. Shazam was pushed up on the flank. SONIQS, they walk right into the trap that is Sentinels. A gravel to disrupt the push, and that's the rest. SONIQS down 9-4, similar to what we saw in Icebox, but this time it's Sentinels that have such a huge advantage, and they've spent all their credits on every gun they could find. They're looking for the 10th here, and SONIQS with just pistols, it's going to be a difficult one.
Yeah, it's going to be super hard for SONIQS to even make it through this defense. Even with that isolated lurk, it could have made a little bit more noise, but great shutdown early on. Not going to let that fester on for too long. double nebula, or just double stars over towards short. As we just wait up for SONIQS on their approach. Dizzy over towards bathroom. Has an open shot for TenZ. And Plix was utilized as a bait there. That could have easily been a pick back, but TenZ gets it. And now it's only Bob in a 1v5 as a classic and ends up going down. Flawless anti-eco. And I said it earlier, I didn't think there was a flawless anti-eco throughout this BO3 thus far. We finally got it.
There it is. Very end. It almost broke apart when TenZ wasn't looking the right way in his showers, but thankfully he recovers just nicely. 10-4 for Sentinels. A full bonus round moving forward. And apologies, Sick, who had a ghost in the last round, is going to be doing 1-4 here. He's going to look, I imagine, for an early fight into showers, where SONIQS, they anchor themselves kind of a default situation. There's not a lot of pressure towards showers. Now, we know Sentinels are a team that kind of leaves showers after the first 10 to 20 seconds, so early util coming out, at least, I imagine, from Sick towards the shower side. A fake TP. Gate crash, I don't believe, is set up on A for TenZ to make the fast rotation. And yeah, they're Sick retreating out of showers after he gets that control. And SONIQS playing a very, very slow default. I think they're just looking for information. And there's even another TP ready. TenZ is going back to the A site, where he has now a gate crash set up on B. This is eerily quiet from SONIQS. And Sentinels, there's no information for them to play off of.
No info, and usually off these defaults we see early util, at least over towards that A site. But again, this is just SONIQS trying to play the most basic of defaults and potentially the most basic of fakes.
Yeah,
a little bit of a burst later on.
It looks like that with the retake. I think this is kind of planned from Sentinels, right? They understand that they gave up showers and Sick. He knows showers is giving up, and he wants them to walk into A. He'll find the first pick, but there's still more to come.
Yeah, Sick gonna be able to take down Dizzy. Wide swinging in an awkward angle, but even more awkward was TenZ. Trying to go for a flash over towards short, but Iron comes in at a pretty good angle. Dapper actually gets a kill off that snake bite right in the middle of sight. That's a little bit awkward. Sentinels now only have one person remaining, and what a person to leave it off to. It's Shazam now in a 1v2, but goes down to Iron, and yet another awkward off angle. But it's gonna be those off angles that are gonna win you some rounds. Bob and Iron combining to give SONIQS the round.
Wow, again, TenZ is caught off on like not even looking towards showers. This time it actually does net SONIQS the kill, and that was what won them around essentially, right? It allows Iron to creep out from showers, play that light angle for where Shazam walks out from. A little bit of a misplay, I'd say, for TenZ, or maybe a miscommunication, right? They should have realized they gave up showers and there could be that player lurking, and I think with the execution on A, you should expect them to have showers control. This time Dapper is going to throw down that Viper wall to adjust for that miscommunication. Make sure they at least have some control, but after checking it, he immediately backs away. A nice owl drone for Shazam after realizing showers is clear. He wants to see where the players are, and he's going to catch at least the back of one, and that's Plix. They know that's their main entry, and TenZ is going to push forward as well with the gate crash already ready towards that A site.
And there you go, TenZ immediately backing on out. Immediately getting that TP back over towards A after a very dangerous peek over towards long B, but that's the point of it. He got quite a bit of information, and he's taking a teammate back with him over towards B. It's going to be a four-man hold for now, Sully.
Yeah, there are 2 stars already set up. One's going to be a Grauvel. One should be a Smoke, maybe even a Nova Pulse. But it looks like, yeah, Smoke goes out towards B long. Recon Bolt to get even more information. There is so much intel that this is going to be a B hit, but they're not convinced. They are not convinced at all. I think the Viper wall has gone up on the A side, and it's pulled rotations. One at least has gone back nearly a second. TenZ has got a gate crush ready in the back of defender spawn just in case, but now comes SONIQS ready to barrel their way into the site, and it's a weakened defense set up here by Sentinels.
Plix was second thinking it, just trying to get a little bit better of an angle, finally in the middle of sight, but it's going to be the Hunter's Fury taking him down. Psalm's helping out too! What a combo in the middle of sight, but Sentinels only able to get 2 out of that interaction. Dapper with a big TP. Finally goes for the wide swing and takes down Iron. All right. Tough to say the least, and it's 10 seconds left with a great crossfire from Sentinels, and they could surely put it off if they can all go for the wide swing, and indeed they do. Shazam and Dapper hold down the Angs. They don't allow that spike to even get close to the middle of Tin Can, and that's the round.
Very, very powerful the way TenZ is using his Yoru right now. Yes, he's not having the same impact that maybe we expect from him on like Arena. He's able to play so many rotations, right? They were like 3 times when he used either fake footsteps to try and sell a push or try and sell a teleport, and then he uses the gate crash and element of surprise. is essentially what it is. You don't know exactly how many players are on a site because of TenZ Yoru, right? It causes so much uncertainty, and Sentinels are looking good. 3 players again stacked at say site. 8 crash set up for TenZ in the back lines of A. Right behind SONIQS' Viper wall. Sets leaving up a fake TP into the B site, so maybe selling again that there's pressure towards B, and he's taking that TP, but I think at this point, SONIQS, you should be expecting it. 5 players lined up, a Hunter's Fury to queue it up, and that's what's going to be the initiator.
Bob making space.
Great delay.
And just a little bit too, and there you go. Like you said, Sully, amazing delay. It's the Viper wall alongside the bite, and there's no way anybody can get any sort of just wild trade just in that one spot. So lots of options covered at the moment, and short is currently closed for business. SONIQS is still waiting around though.
There's really nothing you can do, I think, to break through this defensive line. You need Plix to make a crazy double blast back play, but there's a crossfire held by both Sick and TenZ, and that's the scary thing. Plix has got a little bit of a one-way to play against, and hopefully he doesn't lose his life here. Dapper back towards the shower side, and Recon Bolt goes in. TenZ playing cheeky, and cheeky indeed. Gate crash out of there. It's unpunishable in that position, and now they know where the final players are. TenZ up huge with a 3K and a 4 from Dapper, and there's not much crunch you can do here. Maybe get a couple of kills. Hold on, they line up. There's one on the flank, and I don't know if he notices though, Gus.
Yeah, it's gonna be so hard. No way, the orbital strike in bathroom, but he's gonna go down anyways. Oh, what an idea. But yeah, at that point, it's just pure desperation to try to pull off that 1v2. Yeah, it's Sentinels anyways. Good attempt, and the ulti should ice this out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Dapper with his Viper ultimate could take that wherever he wants, right? If he wants to use it in hookah towards the mid, if he wants to use it towards A shore, he can really, really cause some damage. Crunchy, I mean, in some instances, it's very valuable to get those 3 kills at the very end off, especially if you're in an eco position. But, I mean, Sentinels with such an immaculate lead, 7 rounds you have to play against. It'll be super difficult for SONIQS to even break the economy of Sentinels going on forward. But TenZ, again, very forward. He's going to make that contact and gate crash back towards defender spawn, where he's at least got the information. Sova's been targeted, and this nade could do so much damage if he were to toss it now.
He needs a little bit of information too for this to work.
He's got it.
There goes the nade. There goes the spray. Oh, the nade's gonna do a lot of good chip damage, Sully, but Sick needed a couple of bullets to really make that work. Let's see if Shazam can capitalize though. Takes one down in terms of Crunchy. Zom's going in. Oh my, the dimensional drift happening at the exact same time. Zom's going in for the right click. It is an absolute massacre in the middle of the B site, and it's SONIQS that is left to pick up the pieces. It is Bob left to pick up the pieces in a 1v2. Zom's in the middle of the back of sight. TenZ still sitting in long and still has control of the spike. Such a tough position for Bob.
Yeah, she has got it all to do. 47 HP to prevent a third map out of this round. Now they know the Recon Bolt going in, but what does she do here? No more utility. Recon Bolt's not even going to come into effect, and the vulnerability is going to come into effect now for Bob. She's got nowhere to run. They're not even peeking. They've got the spike, but they're on low HP too, and that's why they're not peeking. Bob, looking to take the early fight, has got the first. TenZ on the swing, 20 seconds left and 8 bullets. But TenZ, knowing him, he's going to watch the angle. Sentinels, that's what you expect from the best. And we'll be right back with map number 3, or at least a breakdown before we head into map number 3.
Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the money in the bank. money in the bank. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the
Welcome back. It is the best of the best finally finding their footing. Sentinels have brought things to a map number 3. My name is Upmine, joined here by Sully, and only in our first best of 3 of the day we get ourselves quite a banger like this. Is it what we expected, Sully?
No, not at all. Honestly, I expected us to be closing out the best of 3 series after that second map, or at least on this second map. Man, it was a little bit shaky from SONIQS. I think my expectations were a lot of util heavy dump setups, but they really didn't get a chance on, at least on that attacking side. Sentinels were very quick to shut it down, and that's how they find themselves with a 1-1 scoreline. Keep in mind, yes, SONIQS actually took Icebox off the Sentinels, and now we've got a third map.
Yeah, for those that are tuning in now, yes, map 1 ended up going towards the side of SONIQS, and yeah, map number 2, of course, going back to Sentinels, but there were a couple of very pivotal rounds, Sully, from around that second map that ended up kind of just switching up the mode on how SONIQS played. We saw SONIQS go from a team that was actually quite aggressive throughout map number 1 to one at least on the attacking side, not one with the explosiveness, the oomph that we expected. Why was that, Sully? Did Sentinels change up their game in map 2?
I mean, it really comes down, I think, to the agent that TenZ elected to play, which was a really big kind of mind twister, because I'll be completely honest, he didn't find the same impact that he normally and typically finds on maybe a Reynon, maybe a Jett if he were to elect to play it instead of a Yoru, right? His style seemed to really differ a lot. He didn't have that entry potential. If he got a kill, he couldn't necessarily immediately back away if maybe he had to dismiss instead. Here, it's that minuscule second, that half a second that it takes to teleport into the gate crash that sometimes was really punishing to TenZ, and that's why Sentinels, they were really using and relying on his ability to rotate super quickly with that gate crash and maybe slow down their playstyle a little bit more.
And I love the I love some of the plays that we saw throughout this game, and this is a little bit more, you know, off note. I just love the utilization of ultis throughout that game. It was always something, at least to just make space or potentially just to scatter around defense. We saw the utilization of dimensional drift throughout that throughout the first half, really scattering choke points, really just taking away players' attentions right when we ended up getting up big peaks. Same thing with Hunter's Furies. Same thing with a whole lot of the other ultimates that we saw throughout that game, even if we saw a lot of Rosa ults. Now, of course, when we go over towards our map picks, here's Sully, now back into the game. Haven, of course, is our third map. How does that change things? Because Bind was kind of fun. Icebox was more or less in the hands of SONIQS. Haven, now we go back to the 3-site massacre that Sentinels quite enjoyed to play throughout the last 3 months.
Yeah, it's definitely always been one of their best maps, no matter what. We're going to see a very slight change where Zoms, who was typically playing Astra, now with Omen back into the fold, he did play Omen, I think, in their best of 3 against EG. So expect that maybe slight variation, but it's more or less the same again coming out from SONIQS, right? More util dump, Brimstone and Viper being used, even a KJ thrown in the mix on Ian, as I think it will be Bob who takes up the Viper instead. So Haven, again, a really strong map for both of these teams. We knew from the get-go that this best of 3 lined itself up for a perfect map lineup for both these sides. Both teams playing to their strengths. Again, we should have a really good third map.
We should have a really fun third map. Folks, before we end up going into that third map, we're going to go to a break. But before we get to that break, let's talk about Zowie real quick. Thank you so much to Zowie for helping us here at the VCT. Folks, have you ever wondered why the majority of professional Valorant players choose to use a Zowie monitor? Well, I got a quick tip for you. First of all, look up what is DYAC on Google. Just Google it. What is DYAC? And you'll see why the effect of dynamic accuracy and color vibrance make Zowie monitors some of the best in the industry. We wanted to give a big thank you again to Zowie for sponsoring this VCT stage. Folks, we'll be right back after another quick break with map number 3, the decider between SONIQS and Sentinels. welcome on back. It is map number 3, the decider between Sentinels and Oceania's own SONIQS. It is a spot in the closed qualifiers, and it's all down to one map. Sully, let's run through Aiden Select.
Oh my goodness. Do I even need to break down the Sentinels comp? Because it feels like for forever, this is the exact same composition they've been running. The only change is Zomz is no longer on Astra, and all that means is we get to see a little bit more paranoia, a little bit more heavy smokes, and we'll see again what Sentinels are going to bring. Again, they're not a team that changes too much, but SONIQS on the other side, this is arguably one of the most powerful compositions when you want to util dump, right? Double flashes off of Sky, Molly triple smokes off of Brimstone, double slow orb wall heal up for Dizzy, for the Sage, Ian, who is playing the KJ, double nano storms. I mean, and then Bob, she's running her Viper. Like, there's just so much util you can dump here. And we were saying how Sentinels, when it comes to teams that they struggle against, it's always those super util dump heavy compositions. On Bind, did not work out for SONIQS. So is it going to work here on Haven? We'll have to see, because in the past, this has been a lineup, this has been a composition that disrupts any opposition.
Yeah, no, Sully, you were absolutely right about the comps. Yes, it's the same comp that we've seen for a while, but I think it's actually better now with this new meta change, with this new patch. So, yeah, the third patch does actually help out that Omen decision over the Astra, but is what it is. Folks, map number 3 between Sentinels and SONIQS starting off right now, and it's most of the players from SONIQS heading up over towards C Long.
Yeah, there's a light cam from Dapper, and with no duelists on the SONIQS side, you really need to rely on those flashes, those guiding lights to really work your way in, and to have those smokes to really obscure positions and use those mollies to clear out angles. And Dapper, sitting right in the smoke himself, he's going to get all this information that okay, nobody's working their way up long. Be ready for an A play. Is an alarm bot set up early, or even be ready for this B play, and they are prepared. One person already watching, that's going to be Shazam, and Sick and Zom's all ready for a quick rotation. There's that instant reaction, and there's Tens getting a first kill. He can even dash and smoke, and it's a free dash, but he wants to maybe overcommit, maybe a little bit too much in that situation.
Yeah, potentially so. There were a couple of players there ready for that trade, and in the end, yeah, it is overstretching boundaries a little bit. Look at Shazam, though, covering up that entry with those shock darts, and it does a whole lot of damage, chunking down a couple of players from SONIQS down to half health, and this just makes SONIQS' job a whole lot easier. No, 6 job a whole lot easier. He ends up getting 3 for his favor, and now it's just down to Ian in a 1v2. Still has the Ghost, and still has Sick, who is healing up in the corner to deal with. Sick plays the round, plays his position to a T, and just blasts away at 4 players.
There you go, Sentinels. It's a very, very strong play from Dapper. It's all really started because Dapper says, okay, let me sit in this smoke. No one see long. Be prepared for a rotate back to either B or A. And they were prepared. Sick, so quick on his feet to make that rotation. And so huge to find 4 kills there. Healing up with the hot hands to give him that slight advantage against Ian. And there it is, Sentinels. This is one of their best maps, and already they are starting it off strong.
Toxins going up.
And this is the Sentinels that we were missing from most of these pistol rounds. That one was fun, to say the least. Dapper, early on, going to be able to get a kill. Still that classic back in the hands of Ian. And he's actually able to win out a battle against Tens. So that's a fun one over towards Long. But that's Tens, really. Making up a lot of very close space in a Long is, I assume it's optimal.
Okay,
of course, Dapper's working out over towards C Long. But I don't really think that Sentinels should be going as aggressive as they were trying to do over in A-Long. But I guess that's a little bit of a rant. Still Plix now in a 1v4. Still has a classic over towards that back end. Still has some decent util too. That Hawk. Well, he's trying to flash their way right into sight. Shazam pulling on a recon bolt from behind. A little bit awkward. But it is what it is. 2-0 going back over towards Sentinels. No issues whatsoever.
Yeah, so the main reason for Sentinels making that push into A is because, well, Dapper's playing a very passive angle on C. And the last thing you want is to have 5 players with a classic running in on your weakened site. So by closing that gap and getting that early information, if say Shazam, or apologies, if Tens were to go down, Shazam is far enough where he can back up, play the shock darts into sewers, play the shock darts along to delay. That really doesn't matter here because you don't have the fear of 5 players running up with classics or pistols. It's a full buy, and Tens early on is going to do the same thing with an aggressive peek towards long. But this time he's got an operator, and we know Tens, he is deadly on it.
Yeah, no, there you go. He's going to be able to get one free one, utilizing that dash right after 2. He's still looking for a second, still has that ping against the wall, and he actually did get a hit onto Bob right through. Some more damage being done, and Shazam around the corner, helping out Tens from that long range, helping out from that close range. Shazam getting a big one off that Spectre, upgrading to a Phantom, and now SONIQS are left up against the ropes over in long.
Yep, there's that aggressive peek again. It works out so well. Sentinels taking the fight very early on at a round like this. When you have the lesser guns, try to close the gap, create your own advantage, and Shazam is already going to find 3 kills, and not going to be able to get the 4th, unfortunately. Bob, she's in a pretty awkward position. Not really many places she could run to, but she could get a couple of kills. Never mind. Tens is already holding with the operator, sending SONIQS back to another eco round where Sentinels now have their 3rd, and they've got all the guns they could have ever asked for.
Yeah, now they're chilling, right? They have at least some of the cheekier interactions throughout the round, including this one. I did like that from Shazam, just trying to clear up space early on. I do like, though, that now Tens has that op in his hand. We're probably going to see Tens get a little bit more fluid with his early positionings, don't you think?
Yeah, I would expect Tens to, again, be like this solo play like we're seeing here early on A site, right? With that wall going up early to allow the cross, Tens is going to try and beat it out. 2 sheriff shots account for 2 players down towards mid, and with Tens getting that information, nobody back towards A lobby, and that Hour Drone as well, netting so much information. Did that recon dart from the Hour Drone tag 2 things at once?
Is that a thing?
I did not know that was a thing.
I didn't think Owl Drone could collide. I think you might be insane.
Maybe it's just a Shazam diff, who knows?
No, we'll see a replay of it later, most likely. But here we go. Tens with a big opportunity for potentially a collab, but he's only able to get one right onto Bob, but gets a whole lot of information, spotting out at least 3 different heads. SONIQS now, mostly over towards short. There's a couple players in long as they split off in 2 and 2. Crunchy and Ian trying to get as close as possible. Do like that hot hands in terms of just a time-wasting angle, but Tens has to be here, ready for that approach. Ian ends up going down dizzy, gets sick after Sick gets flashed out. Tens down with a shorty alongside the off. He's going to be able to get 3 for now. The shorty goes out, and unfortunately his prey runs away. Yeah, there you go. He's hunting. But the Predator, unfortunately, is going to get a little bit hungrier. He's going to keep searching for that 4th kill until the next round, really. Sentinels, what a big hold. But, yeah, it was just Tens. Shazam was there for the support. And that is, again, yet another repeat of yet another A take. SONIQS haven't exactly splurged on other sites.
No, not at all. There's the collat. I actually have
Oh my god, it was!
I think it, like... Okay,
it pinged the turret?
So hear me out. You know when like an arrow
I know it pings turrets,
that splits off into 2 directions? Like it did something and then like a shrapnel just goes off. I think that's what happened. I had no idea that was a thing, but
that's probably it.
It could be it. Might not be it, but it could be it. Anyways, with this really short smoke, it gives Tens an opportunity to maybe line something. Okay, this is incredibly smart from SONIQS. They all crouch underneath, knowing that the brimstone smoke.
And they're hugging the wall too.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole lot smaller than an omen smoke, so they need to be cautious. Seekers go in, cabbages are out, and Tens missing his first opportunity. Seekers are already out, and it's at a free site, at least the left side of sight for SONIQS, but there's at least a Hunter's Fury to try and put a little bit more pressure.
Yeah, the Hunter Spear really does work out for at least a little bit of late pressure, but the running back should be a little bit better too. In we go! Tens misses out on the right click, but Sick is still able to get that kill. Crunching with a big one onto Zombs, and now he just has to crossfire over towards the back line. An orbital strike coming out at the exact same time, and it's a wide radius. He ends up getting a kill onto Dapper. These last 2 players from Sentinels still stuck over towards that back line. Blix has to finish off this last one because it's Crunchy that gets 4. No ace for Crunchy, but a big round for SONIQS. In the meanwhile.
Yeah, with that setup with that orbital strike, it puts you in such an awkward position because you either have to fall back into defender spawn or you risk the swing and getting peeked by 2 to 3 players that are holding that long angle. And Dapper, I think he was trying to be a little bit cheeky with it on his walkaway. Wasn't going to work out in that position. Crunchy coming up huge, using the ultimate. And yeah, Dapper was in a tricky position no matter what. So SONIQS They get their first round. It's a nice execution. There's that util dump. We saw the wall, snake bites, orbs, wall going up as well from the Sage, and then that orbital strike at the very end. It's overwhelming Sentinels, and that could, again, be the winning case if they can use that util. And there's Flix using that util. Is going to find the first, but Tens immediately responds, but it's all a ruse, Gus. It's back to the B site, and rotations right at perfect time here.
Yeah, but wait out for this Omen. It's going to be at least one more layer of defense here on the B side, and this is just all too cheeky for Zoms. Zoms, no! Going with a little bit of tracking, but Dizzy breaks Zoms' ankles. Ends up bending back and ends up getting the kill. Sick. Go. Oh, he wanted it all. He wanted to jump on top of the wall and potentially get a kill on the player that was running down towards the bottom of mid. Now it's just going to be a long-range battle. There goes that orb in the middle of sight, just making more damage. Dapper trying to go for a defuse. Tens can certainly help out on top of this orb, but it's still so many players to deal with. Starts it off strong with a kill onto Crunchy. Sick in the middle of the smoke, trying to find somebody, but Iron is just in the middle of there. No, Iron is actually outside. Sick is still in the middle of sight, but can't find anything. Finally, it's going to be Iron popping out, getting the kill onto Tens, and a massive flash is going to leave Sick totally blind with two people in the middle of his crosshairs. It's SONIQS with a second overwhelming dub.
Post-plant meta, man. You put the orb up, you got Storms, Brimstone Molly, Brimstone Smokes. There's just so much. And a really, really nice shot from Plix. I love the way that Skies are kind of using Sky now, especially Plix, who's typically a duelist, using the Sky flashes to kind of act as maybe like a Phoenix, right? You initiate the fight, you get the player's flash, and you entry into the site for your team. SONIQS net the second round, and it puts Sentinels in an uncomfortable position economically. It's a very scrappy buy, a Stinger and some light armor for a couple of these players. Sentinels, you lose this round, you'll be fully reset, and SONIQS have a chance to tie things up with a single round win here, albeit we know Sentinels are good on eco rounds.
Yeah, we could see some magic for sure. I'm ready to see Dapper in this random corner. He does, of course, have that cam up, and he could get some support in Garage, but yeah, this one goes Dapper. His camera's flashed, and he gets flashed again, and Plix goes for the wide swing. Plix Sully acted like a duelist a little bit, and it's working out as now SONIQS not only have post control a little bit, but also the man advantage, but the man advantage is gone. Cheeky.
Tens.
Yeah.
Tens. Huge kill on that flank, and now they've created a pressure into the back lines. That's going to force a little bit of control from Crunchy. He's like, okay, I got to worry about the flank. And Tens, he's faked a rotation back into Garage, and Crunchy playing for the post-plant Molotov. It's Crunchy able to take down Tens. Queen Bob sitting in the Viper's pit, but it's not going to be enough. She goes down, and these last two players, the Molly's already out. There's a golden chance for this defuse. The radius, it's too far big. Shazam can just take the defuse. There's nothing they can do. Shazam's going to win the round. 5-2 for Sentinels, and it's all because of the positioning of the spike.
Right here. No way, Sully. Yes, it was a man advantage for Sentinels, and honestly, I would have just expected them to win, but it is just a tragedy. Multiple bullets, multiple opportunities to take away that diffuser, to swing back the round for SONIQS. They get a kill. They thought that was it, but no, the three players for Sentinels right in the middle of sight, just trying to get that diffuse off for Shazam. Oh, they body blocked to perfection, and it works. And look at the Molly, Sully! Look at the Molly! We didn't see that angle at all! He was sitting on a pixel, being able to defuse. Sentinels win a fifth by the skin of their teeth. And what is Tens doing? Running up long, getting free!
Down A. One enemy remaining.
The train does not stop, man. Tens keeps on going, but Dizzy's breathed life back into SONIQS. Still, though, there's a flank coming in as well, and I don't even know if he realizes. He has to assume that it's coming in, but a 1 versus 5. Dizzy, too far off for a revive. It all comes down to just him. Wall available. Double slower, but a heal, but a crossfire being held. As soon as the contact's made, Dapper's going to be at the ready. Maybe for that swing. Dizzy checking the corner. Oh, my goodness, Dizzy.
Whoa.
2 more kills to find, and he's got an idea that there's one on the flank. If Sick goes down, this is unspeakable.
Yeah, no, this is really, really good from Sick, though. Sitting off in this off angle, that's a hard clear from Dizzy that he has to go through, and yeah, no, Sick just sitting in an optimal angle off that flank, and I mean, he was already feeling the flank, playing up the timing, and it's all too efficient, but man, oh man, it had to be Tens, right? Tens running up in long, and he's able to get himself 3 off the judge. Like, come on, how does that work? I wish my judge did that. I wish I had his timing, but it was really good setup too because of that Viper well and long. They just made it work.
Yeah, super sick prediction from Shazam to call the push in. But let's not take away the main focus. That round was costly for Sentinels, and now they're in the same economic position as SONIQS. One person's going to have to use a pistol. Thankfully, Tens has at least got the Blade Storm of the others. Same thing for SONIQS. Sick putting a lot of pressure. There's even a crunch coming in from Tens as Sick pulls away all of that heat, but can Tens really capitalize off of it? Yes, he can! Yes, he can! Tens with a third. So clean off of this Blade Storm, and he's even going to find the fourth. Ace incoming possibly, but not enough knives. That is what you love to see. The train does not stop, and he keeps on rolling. Tens with a 4-piece, and Sentinels have got a 7.
Yeah, it's always tends to pull back our attention, right? People like to say that, like, oh, casters, they always like to talk about tens, but it's for plays like this, man. How do you not talk about this for 2-3 rounds to come? This is just nuts. Tens getting himself a 4K, not an ace, but that was...
That's an 150k aim lab grid shot score. That's Tens for you, man.
That's a legend right there with the
3 kills, 4th as well, Sentinels. Golden Boy Tens. I mean, he had a sluggish start on both the first and second map, but Haven is just their hometown, and to see him have such great control, very nice flash from Sick to help support and get that information as you again see Tens pushing up into sewers to get even more info. This is a very, very well thought out round from Sentinels, at least early on. How do SONIQS adjust? They just slow things down, which is also brilliant.
Yes, yes. Very good discipline. And at this point, it's really just what SONIQS needs. They need some early picks. They need some early information. But it's Sentinels with the early info instead. That Hunter's Fury right outside of Garage doing a lot of damage. And not only that, but getting 2 pings. Just collecting up more info. Just collecting up more time here, Sully.
And now they're corralled in towards mid because Sick has made that push. Tens is consistently holding that sewer area where he can make that dash. And they know the burst place coming into B site. Zoms, that's that paranoia finally coming into effect. But is he wary of his right side? No, not just yet. He's still going to try and put pressure. There's a chance for a swing. He's going to get dazed and he's going to go down.
And Tens can just hold this angle too. He's going to be able to take down Crunchy. There's another person around the corner. Yes! Does not expect Iron. Watch out for Shazam trying to go for the wide swing. Bob in a good angle, but Bob somehow needs to make it out alive. That Sage wall around the corner can keep it good, but Sick has the opening, and there you go. Bob goes down in a heap. Plix up close and personal, going up for that flash. Still has a couple more opportunities in the middle of sight for a kill. There goes that curveball. Plix looks away from it. Well done from Plix. That curveball does nothing, and he's able to knock down 2 in one fell swoop. 7-3.
Listen, if we're in 2.11, that does not happen. The changes that Ryda have made for when you turn away from flashes, you barely get blinded. And if Plix, in the last patch, if we were playing, if he turns around, he's still going to be full blinded. But him turning away, swinging right back into the face of Sick is what won them that round. Sentinels letting us round kind of slip through their fingers, but it was just so well done from SONIQS on that post play to again corral the site and really congest those flanks that they knew were coming. Sentinels still 2 rounds to play within this half and still a strong buy. An early guiding light goes out and Tens again taking this space over towards a long, but he's punished by Ian, and that is a massive kill to give up.
Massive kill to give up, and we could see a couple more over towards long. Sentinel still with 3 pillars of defense over in the back of C, just trying to launch out a couple of bullets, just spray them out over towards long. Could have fortunately caught up with a couple of more hits, but still SONIQS sticking around. Sully, they might be depending on some noise man. Oh, never mind. They're just going for it. Orbital strike at the back of sight. It's gonna be Sick trying to stick around and taking down Bob. Great ping for him to be able to do so. Ian still getting a kill over in mid, but more importantly, Sick is holding down C.
Got the info. Ooh, Sick. Looking right into the jaws of Ian, and now he's got a lockdown. Dapper, does he want to go for the repeat? He's not even gonna risk it. The spike on the back of Ian. Spike will go down. Shazam on a flank, prime positioning, but they need to plant in the back of sight. Knowing that Shaz is there, they can't take that plant in the front of sight, and they're wrapping back. They've got 30 seconds. There is a good chance that if they want to, they could wrap and go to whichever site they want, but C seems to be the set piece. Dapper, not too far behind. Cam goes out, so they hear the cam tag, but they don't get the info, and now they know. 10 seconds left. They can play the post plant with that lockdown going in. And it's an effective situation for SONIQS to be in a 2 versus 2, and we'll see who comes out on top.
Yeah. What kind of pressure do they have over towards that back site, too? Just trying to wait up what Sentinels can even try to pull off. Early on with his Owl Drone, this is so good from Shazam. It's so good from Shazam not to even use that Owl Drone early on in the round for the info. He holds on to it, and he's still able to make that approach. He still has a whole lot of util too. Yan just has only dry peaks to give. And no!
Shazam!
Oh, Blix, that would have been it! But Shazam pulls it off! 1-2 combo again, and it's yet another Red Bull clutch for him.
Dude, I am seeing so many similarities in this entire series, right? You mentioned the setup from, I think it was Dizzy on Bind that we saw Tens do against Fnatic. That's almost the exact same clutch Shazam had against Fnatic to win them the grand finals. Right? 1v2, he does a perfect spray transfer as well onto Ian, and he's in the exact same spot. Sentinels 8-3, one more round to go. Sorry, that's just me geeking out knowing that Sentinels are in a very similar position, but Sentinels, one more round of this half to try and at least close it out 9-3, and a dominant half it would be. And honestly, coming from Icebox to dominate Bind and now come into Haven with the same heat, it's a great recovery from them.
Yeah, wonderful recovery after, you know, potentially Mental got boomed after, you know, 2 straight insane plays. But let's see how SONIQS can even land here, dude. They're trying to make their way right into A long. They're just trying to, you know, step near A, but they immediately get taken down again. They can't make any headspace. They're still bobbing towards long. A couple of players from SONIQS really just contemplating long, period. But Tens, how long has Tens had the same op? Is my
a little bit.
For a little bit, right? Still gonna be able to get one with it. Dizzy goes down in a heap after reviving Ian, so still that man advantage for Sentinels is there.
Yeah, and they know this is coming into an A hit. Dapper's got that really deep cam into C. I'm not too sure why Sick has decided to rotate. Maybe they're anticipating an early rotate play, but Shazam gets that peek. Instant reaction from Sick on that C side. He's prepared for the rotation again. Crunchy. One smoke left over, and it's all just for a fake. No one is biting, though. Tens has got the info. He can take the peek out towards long. Shazam is watching as well. It is a golden setup here from Sentinels, and with that cam deep C, rotations can come in so quick, and now they're anticipating this B hit because of the info.
And what's the info grab, though? This crossfire could certainly work, but Zom still needs to be here. Dapper on his lonesome!
Oh, Dapper!
Oh, airing out his Phantom and SONIQS. They all walk into his crosshair, and it's Dapper to cap off a 4K, to cap off the half. Man, yet another one. Sentinels, they always seem to have one player at the right place at the right time in terms of off angles. We're seeing a lot of these rounds just go down to these 3K spray downs. And if I'm Sentinels, I'm not complaining at all.
No, not at all, man.
There's one.
I mean, we end it with a 4K, and we start off the first half with a 4K. SONIQS, honestly, a little bit out of their element. This is the Sentinels that you love to see, the aggressive play style, right? With Tens on that operator, he can solo a site and get info, and he's been doing it on the A site, right? Shazam is there to back up to retake control. Aggressive plays like this are what make the difference, and Sentinels are clearly feeling this map up. All they need now is 4 more rounds to make it to the close qualifier, and at this rate, with this kind of deficit and the way they've been playing, it's only imminent, I feel. But SONIQS now on their defensive side, don't get me wrong, this is a very defensive composition.
No, absolutely. SONIQS, they're playing up with one of the more powerful double comps or controller comps that we're going to be seeing for really quite a while in this meta. KJ and Viper next to each other is going to be so massive, but you also put in the Sage, you also put in the Brim. It is just util dump on top of util dump, Sully, for this entire SONIQS lineup.
Shazam deep in the sewers. Turret's going to give his info. Plix, he can make a pop flash, and he's going to go for the swing. Shazam not able to get out. The timing not on his side, but Dapper has made a little bit of space up towards long. Alarm bot triggers, Swarm goes out, so they're actually baiting a decent bit of utility here coming out from SONIQS. Yes, they're at a man disadvantage, but the utility, I'd say 100% is right now in the favor of Sentinels, right? They can rework into a site if they feel they need to, and they're going to rework back in day. The Viper wall going down at the perfect moment. Dapper, he was so crisp to close out the half. He's got to kick it off here in the second alongside Tens as they walk up long.
Ian able to take down 2 and well swoop. Getting both Dapper and Tens lined up. It's going to be Thompson picking up another kill on 2. Plix, Crunchy Up close and personal over towards short. It's a little bit of an awkward scenario against Sick, but he still wins out the battle. Just about 17 seconds left. It's going to have to be Zoms having to sprint. 14 seconds left. Zoms now through the garage, and if I'm not mistaken, Zoms should have time to get this plant. It's wild that he's even able to make it here.
Yeah, last second in a 1v3. Now, this is the situation that we saw him do in the last clutch. Dapper did it as well on our map of Bind. You are in a disadvantage. You need to create your own advantage. But Zoms has 1 Paranoia to his name and a Frenzy with 30 bullets left.
I love how you mentioned the Paranoia, because I saw Zoms going into the back of sight, and I'm like, oh my, he's about to do it. He's about to dry Paranoia and get himself 3 kills, because why not? But in goes SONIQS. All 3 players going in towards the back of sight, and Zoms essentially dry going in for this Paranoia. Gonna be able to tag 2, actually, with that Paranoia. But it is Crunchy that goes unblind, and it is Crunchy who gets the kill. 4th round for SONIQS, but of course, importantly, Sully, it is the pistol round going back for SONIQS to at least gain a little bit more ground on Sentinels.
A super nice start. I mean, you get the buy back here. Again, SONIQS are no team to shy away from the Spectres. They're going to go with 4. Sentinels, though, Sheriff and a Marshal for TenZ. We are in a Marshal era. 950 credits. It's a very minimal investment, so TenZ is going to risk it, see what maybe he can pocket. And Sentinels, they are a team that love to force up light pistols because they know they can make the rounds count. They know these pistols can get kills. They know they can win rounds like this. And we'll see if they can do it here. SONIQS, heavy util towards the A side. Plix is going to get the early info in towards sewers. Play that close angle as the wall goes up towards B. It's a stronghold right now for SONIQS, but it could all break down with a quick burst. But Dizzy up top is going to be good for the first frag on the B, and that should slow down Sentinels tremendously.
Nice re-smoke in the front of garage, too. It's just going to delay more time, but Sentinels, they have a lot of time to waste. They have a lot of time to wait. They can just stick around this mid area and just try to work out as much util usage from their opponents as possible, and indeed they're doing so with these smoke sets out of garage.
A lot of time wasting for SONIQS. Recon bolt.
Scanning ahead.
They know one is going to be here. No. Crunchy doesn't even break it. TenZ is going to slip through the first moment. Great recognition from apologies, from Bob in the back to drop a quick snake bite. And well, even more pressure. Yeah, they're getting garage control, but there's no way they can work into it. So much damage done. I think at this point, the round is already lost here for Sentinels. Try again. With only just pistols, you didn't expect too much, but SONIQS, wow, they really controlled this round perfectly.
Yeah, they really did. It's really just Sentinels kind of... I'm not going to say letting off the gas pedal, but almost certainly in terms of pace and in terms of physical movement, Sentinels just wanted to control the mid side and putting on the brakes, pretty much just allowing SONIQS to play their own tempo and to really just kind of control everything in the round, really all the aspects in terms of choke points. You're just going to have Sentinels in a little bit of a waiting game. Everyone from SONIQS was disciplined. Everyone was just waiting out their turn, or at least just a little bit of an off angle, and it just works. Patience is key now for SONIQS, because now they have to play up with the SMGs, Sully.
Ooh. Okay, but the thing is like, in this day and age, SONIQS have been good with Spectres. They've won rounds. They've won their bonus rounds. Yeah, they've been nice, right? They've been nice with it. They've won with Sheriffs as well. Now they've got 5 Spectres. This should be a pretty strong round, and knowing Bob, she'll be good to at least delay, right? Snakebite goes out to try to lure them into the site as the stack starts to come in. Guiding light down towards middle, checks for no one towards the B side. But rotations, they are a little bit slow. Paranoia set up here for Zoms, and that's going to be the entry. TenZ is going to dash in. He takes a little bit of hit from the apologies from the snake bite. Whoa. But there is just too much action going on. And somehow, some way, Sentinels clear it out like it's nobody's business.
Too much action going on. That is the name of the game when you got yourself a flash and dash. Out goes the Paranoia. Out goes the dash from TenZ. And they're able to sweep up the C site with a barrage of pixels on that C site, with a barrage of individuals. The Sentinels, they're able to overwhelm SONIQS in the back line, and just like that, Crunchy, who might have had a little bit of a chance rotating back from their spawn, well, yeah, no chance for now. It is done and dusted, as now Dizzy is the last person remaining in a 1v4. And did Dapper get that information? I think he did. That sucks.
Fortunately, SONIQS with their 5 Spectres, I maybe put too many expectations on them. It's a really good Paranoia because you can see where those X's lie on that C site. Zoms, you threw it from the cubby back towards C long. It's a really nice lineup. It works perfectly. Gets 2 players blind, and Tenzo especially breaking up the defensive hold, that crossfire as well, disrupting that C side hold. Very effective execution from Sentinels. SONIQS, still, it was again their bonus round. Now they've got the full buy. See what they can get done. We know Sentinels. That was only just the start. And here we go again. Full buy for both sides, and this is where maybe the rough patch starts to happen for both sides.
Potentially so. But SONIQS still has that drive back, and not only that, but a couple of ultis are actually kind of close to warming up. Sentinels, they really have to pull a couple of tricks from under their sleeve to try to pull away this round, because Sully, again, I just think that this round is it for the game. Sentinels wins this one out, and they essentially have a 12th round confirmed under their belt, or they can at least make it to a 12 point. They put themselves in a very similar position as they were against Evil Geniuses just yesterday with a 12-5 scoreline. They ended up closing that one out. Yeah. But, yeah, still Sentinels. They have a lot of cushion. They can make it a whole lot better, though. They want to look for a little bit of a burst on the A site. This could get a little bit fun. Smoke goes out over in heaven. It's a full 5-man split on A. Early hot hands right in the middle of long. So that's going to split up the approach. But Sick is still able to get a kill on 2. At least 1 player in the back of that line. Crunchy now, the last person remaining, essentially over and short, and Crunchy is able to get 2! Shazam still taking back the kill against Plix, but Crunchy is still living in short, trying to delay time for this rotation, and he's still getting kills! Crunchy holding down the line, Zoms was looking the other way, Crunchy could have had 4! Still another 2v2 post-plant, Sully.
Yeah. This is tricky to play against because there's a flank coming in from Ian and Bob. She's up top. The Viper Wall is going to disrupt the vision from both these players. The focus automatically becomes back towards defender spawn. And Ian, a chance to find Shazam, but a great recon bolt doesn't reveal his position. And Shazam checking regardless. The ping goes out, and now they know. Shazam dancing around. Zom's good for the first, back towards long, and jumping out of heaven, finding a resting spot. Bob goes down, and Sentinels, they find a recovery despite Crunchy's heroics on the A site.
Crunchy really made it possible, and it was one of the best plays individually that we've seen from SONIQS throughout this game. And if that says anything, I don't know what does. If this is going to be the best play of your game thus far, especially from the plays that we've seen before, SONIQS, they have quite a few ways to go. Crunchy, that was a big play, but we haven't seen any of the individual stars from the last few games really pop off. It's been Sentinels really choking them out.
Yeah, there's really nothing you can do, at least. It feels so overwhelming when Sentinels can just somehow recover from a round like that. SONIQS, it's a long road ahead of them. It was a very good delay on that A site, but they need more replication of that kind of play, where that slow orb comes down and Crunch can find those heroics. You can't rely on one player, and Sentinels, they've been able to break through the defensive line. It's a lighter buy from SONIQS. This should be no different, and like you said, if Sentinels were to win that previous round, you feel like they get onto 12 here. That could be the case. Sentinels working their way back to the A site after Sick gets info towards B mid. They're filling out the site right now, and the wall, it's already down, but it's ready to go up at a second's notice. And Crunchy, apologies, Dizzy is already here, but he walks away.
No
A site
way,
completely
no
opened up,
way.
and Sentinels can just waltz their way in now.
Yeah, retake setup here, Sully, essentially. And that one's going to be it. Crunchy still wants to look over towards that back line, but again, great coverage in terms of util, and it's very low util at that.
Yeah, they didn't really have to expend too much. 2 smokes, recon bolt, and a cage.
Tens.
Use that paranoia. Oh, a little bit awkward, but he still gets one.
No way! Tens just switched off of his gun right as the smoke dissipates, and he's still able to get the kill. Oh, that one gets me going. Still, it's going to be Shazam getting another kill against Crunchy, and Dapper finally getting 2 against Bob and Ian. Oh, man. It hurts, man, because I keep thinking to myself, what if my gun worked like that? What if my dash worked like that? If Tens can pull off a play like that, I hope, you know, potentially one day I can, but he's just too good. 21 kills under his belt thus far in this game. Crunchy, top fragging for SONIQS at 15. And it's SONIQS that currently has to rack on the kills, currently has to rack on the rounds. Sully, it is map, match, and qualification point for Sentinels.
It's 3 ults here, at least for SONIQS. 2, 3 actually super important ones. That Viper's Pit ready to be activated on the C side as soon as the pressure's a little bit too much. Orbital Strike to deny. Killjoy ultimate lockdown for the retake. Hull drone goes up. That should at least scope out where the main focus should be. And it looks like Sentinels are going to go for a really early split. Sentinels going to try and set something up with the old Hunter's Fury. No real tags coming into play, but Sick has found at least a little bit of gap into Garage. Information that there's at least 2 players here, but what can he find? He slipped right through the lines. Ian has got no information that he's already slipped through. It's just up to the guessing game, and Sick is going to be good for the first.
Sick is going to be able to get one, but Plix was jumping out of the way, and there you go! Sick on his lonesome has cleared out the entire C site. It could potentially go for more. That lockdown going, and Sick is still going! Sick! Closing out this game for Sentinels thus far, but can they really close the book? Can they really close this chapter against the Australians? They surely can. The glory days for Sentinels continue as the world beaters continue to take down region after region. It's Oceania this time in the Reign of Terror for Sentinels.
It's so unfortunate that SONIQS go down, but we don't have time. We're going to jump to a quick break, and when we get back, we've got a winner's interview and a chance to break down this best-of-3 series.
Welcome back, welcome back. Our first best of 3 of the stream has finally finished. And why I say finally finished, because man, it was a long one. It was a 3-map set between Sentinels and SONIQS, but that last map going by pretty quickly. Thank you to a whole lot of pretty decent individual plays, to say the least, Sully.
Yeah, a couple of decent individual
Just
plays.
a couple, right?
They were just popping off. Like there's no other way to put it. We counted 3 to 4 different 4Ks and 3Ks, and Sentinels, this is what we expected from throughout the entire series. We're thankful that it didn't look like they lost any form after that first map. They came swinging back in maps number 2 and 3, and they were lights out throughout both Bind and Haven. I mean, the individual performances were this minuscule thing. The way they were maneuvering around the map, the way they were dealing with this kind of heavy util dump composition was perfect. And again, consolidations to SONIQS. They played really, really good in the first map, but you're no match against our best.
Yeah, not a lot of risky plays either. It was really Tens that kind of put that ideology back to sleep. But SONIQS, we saw that they were a little bit more of a disciplined team over towards that defensive side. And Sentinels, they really didn't let off the brakes a singular time throughout both halves. We saw just a lot of aggression, and even then, controlled chaos at that.
Yeah, they were very, very quick to get map control. A lot of the times we saw Tens pushing deep in towards A long, and at times we would even see Dapper putting a very deep cam into C, getting all that information. And then on the attacking side, things kind of slowed down a little bit, but still they were very quick to burst into sites, using ultimates to